they should, but at the same time, it's a new NBA. You've got to reach for the stars.
I know we got to get. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Salutations, everyone. This is Randall. I'm back, just giving you more news on the NBA free agency. A couple hours ago, news broke that Kevin Durant has decided to stay with OKC. He re-upped for 2 more years. It's a 1-and-1 deal. You know, he has he signed for the max for 1 year, and he has a player's option to re-sign next year. He's been doing that a lot lately. Pretty much since he's been in Golden State. LeBron James is currently in LA right now. He's not taking any meetings with the Cavs. All his business is being conducted via phone. Like his agent, I believe, is Rich Paul. He's talking to the Cavs organization via phone, but he's in LA. The rumors are saying that he wants to go to the Lakers. I think he's just there because he has a couple of homes there. Right now, I'm looking at NBA TV. It's the free agent frenzy. It's Dave Aldridge, the guy who was the Cavs GM for a minute, David Griffin, and the host. I don't know his name, man. I'm really excited. I just really hope my Wizards do something. I hope they do something, man. I think we have the assets to trade for Boogie Cousins. Excuse me. I really want Boogie Cousins. I'm gonna be pushing this until it's official that he signs with whoever. But we got to get Boogie Cousins over here. It's looking like he's not going to command a max deal because he's coming off the Achilles tear, so most likely he's going to get a short contract, like 2 or 3 years max, kind of like a prove it deal, just to see where he is as far as recovering from the injury. I follow him on Instagram. And he's working out, and he looks pretty good to me, man. He actually looks a little slimmer. You can look at as being an incredibly high value free agent. I really want him to be in DC. We just picked up Austin Rivers, and it's Boogie Cousins. What is it? Everyone is waiting on. Yeah. Paul George and okay. Anyway, dude said something about Boogie Cousins. I didn't hear him. That is a player. Man, if Boogie Cousins goes to Cleveland, I'm gonna be so sick. I'm gonna be so sick if he goes to Cleveland with LeBron James, man. I don't forgot what I was about to say though. That might be enough to sway the balance. Oh yeah. We have the assets to trade for Boogie Cousins, man. And we just the Wizards, we just traded for Austin Rivers, and that deal kind of doesn't really move the needle for me, but I do think our bench needs to be fortified, and Austin Rivers is a 15-point scorer coming off the bench. That couldn't hurt us because our bench was a bit anemic at times. So I think I can't really judge that trade right now. Because I got to see all the other moves that the Wizards made. But I think if we add Boogie Cousins, whether it's a sign and trade or, sign him outright, I kind of doubt, well, I really doubt, like 85% doubt that we just outright sign Boogie Cousins because we're the Wizards. But if we can somehow work out some type of sign and trade, I'll be perfectly fine with that. You get rid of even if we had to get rid of Otto Porter, and he's probably out. He is our most efficient player, but at the same time, he's not Boogie Cousins. I'm gonna reluctantly give him up, but at the same time, you know, you getting potentially, you know, when healthy, the best center in the game for pretty much an average small forward. Go a little bit above average. I'm not gonna disrespect my man like that. I like Otto Porter. He reminds me a lot of Tayshaun Prince and Shawn Marion. You know, you put those two together, you got Otto Porter. What else? But the trade I've been kind of looking at, you know, messing around on Real GM is kind of like a package deal. You know, we package Kelly Oubre, Tomas Satoransky, and maybe Yamahimi for Boogie Cousins and, you know, another player. You know, I mean, because it's not like I don't like Thomas Satoransky. It's just we don't use him correctly in the first place. Like, I see all the potential in the world. I don't know if it's him or he's just doing what the coaches say, but he doesn't make anything happen, man. Like, you know, his player comparison, you know, coming out in the draft was Manu Ginobili, but as I said in previous videos, that Manu Ginobili, even as a young player and a rookie, he at least made something happen, and if Pop pulled him, he pulled him, you know. But he was at least out there. You know, he was out there. Thomas Satoransky kind of just drifts throughout the game. You know, a lot of times you don't know he's on the floor.
Try America's #1 rated mattress brand for 100 is free. Save up to $225 through July 9th at Casper.com.
I'm sitting there watching NBA TV. You know, it's still about an hour and a half to go to official.
That's the whole point of online dating.
To the official free agency. Here? Yeah, so I'm just waiting.
How's that working out for you? Hey, where'd you meet her?
I'm just waiting.
We continue on the free agent fever now, about 90 minutes away from the stroke of
90 minutes away.
Midnight. Notable free agents.
Oh, I forgot. Aaron Gordon was a restricted free agent. He'd be a nice fit for my Wizards. I doubt we go for him, but.
Paul George, who is in Oklahoma City, is the
and then we got Markieff Morris. I'm a Markieff Morris fan. He's one of the more polarizing players in amongst Wizards fans. I like him.
Let's start with Chris Paul.
I fuck with Markieff. I mess with Markieff Morris.
Is there any chance
I like him.
that he's not back here? And is the only question how many years?
But, you know, interesting is Chris Paul is an unrestricted free agent. There's a good chance he may go to Cleveland and join LeBron James.
I would be shocked if he wasn't in Houston. I mean,
I don't know, bro.
That was kind of the expectation that we were kind of max deal.
Mr. Aldridge talking about he'd be shocked if Chris Paul isn't in Houston. You know, him and LeBron James are pretty tight.
Yes.
They're part of that banana boat crew. You know, that everybody always references.
That team is certainly good enough to be in the finals. That's certainly good enough to win a championship. So, as long as
do y'all think Chris Paul, if he hadn't got hurt, you think they would have beat Golden State?
It would be. I would be surprised.
A lot of people sleep on Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul is top 3-point guard. You know, in the league today, it's him, Steph Curry, and Russell Westbrook. They're my top 3-point guards. And then you got maybe the Kyrie and John Wall and Dame Lillard. They're on that next tier. And then you got everybody else.
I think it's really complicated. And it was brilliant that Eric started us off with non-tampering-ish. Because I think this is something where it's a really unique situation.
I'm ready.
Chris agrees to be traded to Houston. Opts into a trade scenario. There's no chance in the world he made that decision without having a conversation about what comes next.
Theoretically, in the summer of 19.
Let's pretend, for the sake of argument.
Right.
Check.
So because of that,
empty as hell,
he had that conversation, or he and his agent had that conversation.
Nobody like me. Nobody showing me love tonight.
Who then sold that team to Mr. Fertitta,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So Tillman Fertitta buys that team, and he says, "Yeah, that's a really cool story. I didn't make that agreement." Now, no one made that agreement, but it really does set up an interesting nuance to this situation, because in addition to paying Chris what would be $205 over 5 and a starting point of $41 million, they also have to work in Clint Capella.
You're already paying Harden whatever.
Yeah, Houston might be running into some trouble because Clint Capella is a free agent as well. What if they lost Chris Paul and Clint Capella? That would be terrible. That would be terrible, man.
Make them negotiate harder on Capella's deal, and does that then give opportunity to a team that might max out Capella to swoop in and get him? It's fascinating. It really is, to see the way that dynamic plays out.
See the Suns waive Tyler Ulis.
A max deal, which I think they will.
That's news, I guess.
How do they find 9 other guys to play and you bring Capella back? You have to bring Capella back. What's the point? You don't
Garrett Temple will be opting into his $8 million player option. Smart man, because I don't see anybody paying Garrett Temple any more than that. He was with my Wizards for a minute. He was another guy, man. It's just like, yo, what do you do?
And are you stretching?
What do you do? Like, he would start a game and finish the game with like 6 points and 4 assists. We can't have any guys like that. Not for my Wizards. Like, I'm tired of stuff like that. I'm tired of, just guys that do the bare minimum, or just extra bodies on the court, not doing anything. We have a bunch of guys like that. And just because they don't make mistakes, a lot of people look at them like they're smart players. No, man, they're scared players. They don't do anything.
It's a problem. So $150 million in tax.
That's just my opinion.
And Chris
no, we don't need any guys like that.
What about Ariza? Now,
we have too many guys like that in the first place.
No one will take Ryan Anderson. Someone will take everybody, right? Mozgov just got traded again. All right, it happens. So it depends what you give, right? Are they giving up a lot? They don't have a lot as far as first. They've already traded some, so they're kind of in a difficult spot. But Daryl Morey, the GM, is very clever. I feel like they've got to find a way out of Ryan Anderson. Maybe it's a stretch situation. We talked about that with Luol Deng, where you push his money out over a number of years, and it reduces your immediate burden. Because
why is Luol Deng still getting paid, man? Why is he still in the league? I thought he retired. He should have retired like 3 years ago.
So there's a lot that they have to figure out. I don't see how you stop being the Rockets.
See, we don't need the Wizards will most definitely pick up a Luol Deng.
Like you said,
just a guy just on the bench, not doing anything. We're getting paid $10 million a year. That's a Wizards move.
$47 million down the road. That's a lot. A lot of money. Let's take a look at this. This comes in from JTL. I still don't understand, Rip, how the Lakers make more sense than the Pels if he's going to jump conferences. Why would Boogie want to be in Golden State's division?
Well,
my reaction to your comment.
Well, I think the reality is New Orleans and Del Demps are dealing from a position of strength that there's no alternative for Boogie. Right?
I don't know, man. Boogie can come to the Wizards, bro. They're talking about it right now. Let me be quiet.
In terms of the number they can get. So this is a situation where it may be simple math. If what New Orleans is willing to do is 20 plus, give or take, with a second year in their control on year 2, if you're Boogie and you can get more money for 2 or 3 years, that's why you're going to leave. He's not worried about being in Golden State's division in that circumstance. Boogie is not a signature shoe guy. He is not creating that kind of off-the-court income. So it does become very germane if you're getting 3 years at 20 plus.
Oh, shit.
Versus
Beard looking nice.
The team controls.
Beard looking nice tonight.
That's what the conversation would center around. I have no idea. But the reason that I look at Boogie is potentially leaving New Orleans is not at all a slight in New Orleans.
Right.
It's this simple negotiation leverage he would have because LeBron identifies that's a guy I would want to play with.
Plus, he'll be in Los Angeles playing with LeBron James.
No, I want to ask you guys. The Pelicans, look, AD played the best basketball of his career, you could argue, after Boogie went down. Drew Holiday was fantastic. They were really competitive in that series.
I don't know, man. When Boogie, I'm talking about Boogie Cousins again. When Boogie Cousins went down, all right, before he went down, they were just the New Orleans Pelicans were just starting to put it together. I think they were like an 8-game win streak. And he tore his Achilles. And they kept it moving. Everybody kind of stepped up their game. They put Rondo in the starting lineup, moved Drew Holiday to the off guard, and then Anthony Davis kind of played out of his mind. They played really well. They swept Portland. I didn't think they were going to sweep Portland. I didn't see that coming. And Portland was the 3 seed too. Portland was the 3 seed, so I think I had Portland winning that series. Just without Cousins, I thought Portland had too much firepower. But then we got to see Drew Holiday. I've always been a fan of Drew Holiday's game, but I didn't think he would shut down Dame Lillard and
Drew Holiday found an
what's the other guy, C.J. McCollum.
But here's
I didn't know he was like that. Like I knew he was nice.
Style of play,
he really opened my eyes.
Golden State, should they meet,
what? Drew Holiday, when he's healthy, he's one of the better guards in the game too. But he was showing out.
7th best player. To some degree, if they can get Boogie at the right number, that's a gamble you must take. Because Alvin did such a great job of making the pieces fit. You want to be in a situation where you can see what could this really look like. And Dell, I think, is probably going to do a really good job of making sure that if the injury situation is still potentially a problem, they're protected. They indemnify themselves with a pre-existing injury exclusion. They get a non-guaranteed year, something that gives them the ability to get out if it doesn't go well from a fit standpoint or from a health standpoint.
I want to talk about the Pelicans financially in 1 second. I just want to point one thing out. I know later in this show,
we need to cough up that cheese. I'll give Boogie $20 million a year.
You look on that
coming off an injury. I would still do it.
Look at the difference Rajon Rondo had on that sheet.
He's the best center in the game.
Think about the fit there.
It's top 3 is him and Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns.
It's news.
Either one of those 3 guys. Top 3. Top 3 center in the game, man. If he comes to Washington, he probably instantly becomes our best player. And I love John Wall to death, but I'm not a big fan of John Wall being our leading scorer. So this would put John Wall at probably our second or third option
under contract. So if you're investing in DeMarcus Cousins and it makes Anthony Davis want to stay there as opposed to nickel and diming it, Cousins, he goes somewhere else. Now maybe the team isn't as successful. It doesn't matter the Achilles. You have to make Anthony Davis happy. So I think
they don't want to make Anthony Davis happy, baby. He going to Chicago when his contract is over.
Make something. Find something, like Bruce said, a non-guaranteed something, an exclusion, but they're going to have to.
The why on Boogie and where to Kawhi and where?
How y'all feel about Kawhi Leonard?
That's the streets of Philadelphia. Get to that on the other side.
Talking about Kawhi Leonard might end up in Philly. I don't see that happening for him. He's dead set on going to LA. And be on the lookout for the Clippers. He just seems like a Clipper guy to me. He's just not. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the LA Laker personality. Seems like a Clipper guy. And, the Clippers got a bad rap, throughout history, rightfully so. They've always been trash up until Blake Griffin got there. But, when I see Kawhi, I don't see the Lakers. Man. He's more Clippers. And he has Laker talent. Like he's top 5 player in the game. Maybe top 5, top 10.
That's clearly the best way to patch
but he has Clipper personality. Though. He doesn't have the pizzazz. He doesn't have that Shaq, Magic, Kobe Bryant personality. Well, honestly, neither did Kareem. Kareem was very stoic. know, very serious. So yeah,
With a clear
he might fit.
And even make quick repairs without changing the look of your beautiful surfaces. Now it's easy to fix rips and tears. Plus, Let's Take Clear holds on tight, even when wet. Let's Take Clear is perfect for emergency auto repairs. And lets light pass right through. Boats, campers, trailers, and RVs. Now everything in plain sight can be sealed watertight. To show you the power of Flex Take Clear, I cut a giant hole in another boat and repaired it with only Flex Take Clear. Not only does Flex Take Clear's powerful adhesive keep all the water out of the boat, but even in shark-infested waters, it creates a super strong watertight barrier that seals out the elements, and you can see right through. And even in the most extreme conditions, Flex Take Clear can take a pounding and hold on tight. I think I'm going to need a bigger boat. Guys, well, where'd everybody go? You get a large roll of Flex Tape Clear for just $19.99. Plus, we'll include a handy can of Flex Seal, Flex Shot, Flex Glue, or Flex Seal Liquid. Call right now. That's amazing.
Are you done yet?
Well, I'm done.
Should you be at work?
Hold on.
Your rear bike's all fixed.
Oh, you guys are good.
Oh, we are the #1 motorcycle insurer in the country. Wait, you have a real motorcycle? And real insurance with 24-hour customer support.
Well, I retire as champion.
Game hog.
Champion.
You gotta love social media during the course of the free agent fever. Spike Eskin, this is a fun one. Sixers fans 60 days ago, LeBron's coming. 60 hours ago, Pop's gifting us Kawhi. 60 seconds ago, well, we can get Redick back for $17 million a year. We got a chance from NBC Sports Philadelphia to welcome in Jessica Camarado coming up to join us for a couple minutes. Jessica, obviously, a lot of dreams have become reality in the City of Champions the last year. The next one for Sixers fans is they want to see Kawhi Leonard on the roster. What's the latest on the possibility of that actually happening?
Kawhi Leonard to the 76ers.
What the Sixers have done in order to potentially
He ain't going there, bro.
trade for somebody like Kawhi is they've been stockpiling in assets. And as you guys have seen,
He's not going to Philly. He doesn't want to go to Philly, man. If Boston couldn't trade for Kawhi Leonard, why does Philly think they can trade for him? Boston has more assets.
Jumped at the chance. An unprotected first-round pick is so rare in a lot of cases in the NBA. So they have that piece that they can throw in, which would make a trade a lot more enticing when you have that to offer.
Jessica, obviously the Sixers will go into next season, regardless of Kawhi or not, if healthy, with a chance, especially if LeBron leaves, to get deep conference final to a final. What do you hear? What do you think might be the plan B? Everybody seems to talk about Kawhi, but if he goes elsewhere, does not come to Philadelphia, where do they go next?
It's really interesting because for this one, you kind of look within the team this past season and say, well, what happens with J.J. Redick? There's a lot of
J.J. Redick
at that two-guard spot. Does J.J. Redick?
Well, you know, J.J. Redick gonna have to come off some cheese. $20 million for him.
Or you go after another free agent.
You give maybe 10 to 15 for me.
Different spot that they did in the past years, where it's not like they have to go out there
20 mil.
and try to get all these guys.
I don't know about that, brother.
In place. And maybe it comes down to they add a few veteran players.
I really wanted the Wizards to draft Zaire Smith if
the boost that J.J. Redick has done
if we didn't get
year. So it's not like
what's my man who ended up going
they have to go after. There's a few different avenues. Let's wait and see where a lot of the big names
Denver.
end up.
Michael Porter Jr.
All
right, but
to trust the process over the years. It also
I like Zaire Smith and I liked Robert Williams.
Now come to greed because you've got a fan base of a team.
You know, those
has the chance to win.
Michael Porter Jr., Robert Williams, and Zaire Smith were my top 3 picks. You know, for the Wizards to get the first round.
So any time that a team like
they end up with Troy Brown Jr.
from where they were lottery bound playoff bound. The expectations.
We'll see how that works out, man.
Especially if LeBron James does the Eastern Conference. There's such a big window of opportunity right there for
the way I look at it, man, he can either be Andre Iguodala or Jared Jeffries. You know what I mean?
Because look at what they did with the team they had in place. You have to figure Simmons and Embiid are only going to get better than they were this past season. So, yeah, the teams are, they had to exhibit a lot of patience over the last year, but the expectations are going to be high. And when you look at the way the standings are right now with what's going on with teams in the East, there's no reason not to think the Sixers won't just go up.
Jessica, thanks a lot. Appreciate it on what's obviously a busy night for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, there's Jessica Camarado. So I want to go here, and Grip, I want to start with you because I think this is a question we need to stop and ask before we even get to anything on the floor. And that is the front office and where we are with this team and the decision-making process after the changes and what went on with them over the last couple of months.
10:47.
And does that change anything? Does it make the direction any different? Because it's not necessarily the best thing or something you want, I would assume, in a hierarchy to have that kind of a change this close to creating.
Well, I think Brett Brown was really clear at the press conference that he did with Josh Harris after Brian Colangelo departed Philadelphia, in that they have a great deal of confidence in the people that are there currently. The very first name he mentioned was Alex Rucker, who's their vice president of strategy and analytics. They feel really confident that Alex, Ned Cohen, Mark Eversley, and Brett are going to be able to navigate this free agency period. And to a huge degree, they should. Because to this point,
I don't know, man.
staying
I know
the
if Philly,
has proven
get somebody,
very
we'll be kicking
beneficial
our
for them,
ass for
but
years
it's
to
also
come.
proven really beneficial to Boston.
When I say
it's
ours,
important
I'm
when you
talking
look at
about
what they've done from a
my Washington
sustainability
Wizards.
standpoint. From a year after year making
Boston's
good,
already
sound
beat my ass.
decisions that are not reactionary.
Cleveland
They're
always
not
beats our ass.
chasing something bigger than where your team is ready to perform.
Pretty
I
much
think
since
there's a
LeBron
real
James has
argument
been
to be
there.
made there that they don't need to panic and do anything.
I want LeBron to stay
because
in
they
Cleveland.
understand what
I
they
want
most
him to get
need.
some help,
It's
but
a
I don't
certain
want
situation.
him to get Boogie
Typically,
Cousins.
every player is an overreaction.
I want my team to beat a really good Cleveland team.
Lack of vision. It was a totally different
and I want us to be able to compete with Golden State.
Unique situation. So I have every reason to believe in the course.
So it's currently constructed.
Get more shooting.
I feel my Wizards are kind of on the way to being the Houston Rockets of the East. I said that in the previous video. We have two all-star guards, and Bradley Beal and John Wall. Now we just got to fill out the rest of the roster, like Houston did. Even though Houston only has two all-stars, they're a very deep roster, and I think my Wizards have the potential of being the Houston Rockets of the East. We just do some good signings, some legit NBA players instead of a bunch of 6 and 4 guys. Guys who start holding, basically a bunch of Garrett Temples. We don't need a bunch of Garrett Temples and a bunch of Thomas Satoransky.
Celtics and Sixers. So take me through this, DA, because the pressure.
2 years ago, the Houston Rockets actually had Eric Gordon and Lou Williams coming off the bench, and both of them put up like 15 points a game. I think Lou Williams' first game with Houston, he had 50 points or some shit like that. Am I allowed to curse? My bad.
They're getting those
You're
guys.
saying that's good.
That's pretty good.
No, we're not allowed to curse.
Pretty good. And so they have no pressure. I mean, I think they can look at this kind of very, not matter of fact, because Kawhi Leonard's an all-star top 5 player, and you have to take that seriously. You have to really think about it. Does this guy really help? How much will this guy help my team? What would we have to do differently? All those things. And you do, if you're Danny Ainge, take a long, serious look at Kawhi Leonard. I'm just saying, I don't think the need.
What's going on, Raphael? How you doing, brother?
As the need for Philadelphia is to make a move, because Philadelphia is the team that lost to Boston last year.
Oh yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm a Washington Wizards fan, and I was just saying my Wizards have the potential to be the Houston Rockets of the East. We have 2 all-star guards too. I was just thinking, maybe if we filled the roster out, around John Wall and Bradley Beal, we have a chance to be pretty decent. You know, I've been preaching, you know, ever since I put this this channel up. I've been, you know, doing the boogie to DC thing for about 2 years though. Yeah, he's the perfect fit. He's the absolute perfect fit. Now I don't want us to, you know, I'm more angry with the front office. You know, if we don't make this trade, you think the Austin Rivers trade was a steal? I don't know. The jury's still out for me. Like, first of all, I'm a Duke hater, and he went to Duke. So, but yeah, he's Austin Rivers is a pretty decent player. He's a self-made player, and I gotta respect that. You know, he gets a little bit better every year. Yeah, Boogie played with John Wall in college. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't win. You know, that was a stacked team. He had Cousins, Wall, Eric Bledsoe, Patrick Patterson, somebody else. Somebody else was on that roster. But yeah, I'm really surprised that they didn't win. Who they lose to that year? I think did they lose to Austin Rivers that year, man? I can't even remember. I really hope we get Boogie Cousins, man. I really do. Hey, so are you from Houston? Because I spent some time in Texas. I moved here to Virginia from Texas a little over 2 years ago. The only thing growing are the weeds. It's no wonder the seed gets. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, I moved here from Austin, Texas. And my girlfriend at the time lived in Houston, Texas, so I was, you know, back and forth between the two cities. I like H-Town. It reminds me a lot of DC. Simply attach to any garden hose and turn the dial to seed. Forget the guesswork. Hydro Moose shows you exactly where you're planted. The Green Moose formula. Yeah, Avery Bradley is one of those guys who you hate him if you're playing against him, but you would love to have him on your team. You know, I really hope LeBron stays in Cleveland. I hope he stays in Cleveland because I don't, you know. Why else? Why would he go to LA? Like he's almost a billionaire anyway, so it's not like he's gonna make any more money, you know, just because he's in LA. It's not like he doesn't have the same opportunities. There's nothing else for him to prove out in LA. You know, just stay in. I mean, just stay in Cleveland. And then, you know, since he's in the Eastern Conference, it's pretty much wide open. You know, he's like the gatekeeper to the NBA Finals. So he has a better shot at being in the finals if he stays East. Why would you go to the same division as the Golden State Warriors? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, he's getting less in LA. You know, and plus California got those crazy taxes. He's getting way less. Like if he's doing it just for the money, which I doubt. But yeah, he's getting way less.
Get the entire family of Flex Seal products. Everyone loves Flex Seal, the easy way to coat, seal, protect, and stop leaks fast. This rubberized coating creates a super strong barrier. It's actually liquid rubber in a can.
Yeah. Well, that's the news, man. Paul George is staying in OKC. You think? I don't know. What do you think he will fit in Houston?
With Flex Shot, you can call.
Oh, well, he has that personality though. Like Paul George is as talented as anybody in the NBA, especially at the small forward position. But he, I think he's very comfortable taking the back seat to whoever.
Just like batteries and flashlights, make the Flex Seal family part of your storm.
I think he's very comfortable.
The fever rolls on. Scissor hands.
That's how people scissor hands is.
Edward. It's not Edward.
Not Edward.
Is that PG-13?
That's his barber.
Saying great news for Thunder fans. So yeah, you're right. Paul George might stay.
Let's leak that information. I'll tell you what. we know about the
You want to trade for Jimmy Butler? Who y'all gonna trade for him though?
Over the last couple months about Paul George and LeBron, it was like people thought it was
I like Jimmy Butler.
They were Roberts was gonna take Paul George with him. Right. You look at it now as a foregone conclusion that Paul George was going back. Okay.
Yeah, who would y'all trade for Jimmy Butler?
I think anybody could say that. What I will say, what I've been saying for the last 3 months now.
Eric Gordon, some picks, and PJ Tucker.
The Thunder did an amazing job.
I like Eric Gordon. I'm not too fond of PJ Tucker.
Together for Paul George. When they traded for him.
PJ Tucker has nice shoes though. Yeah, he has probably the best
there was a
shoe collection in the NBA. And he doesn't have a deal, so he just wears whatever.
To fly everybody with not unsubstantial amounts of shoes. Right?
Like just look at his shoes, man. I don't like his game, but I like his shoes.
Everything to make him feel like this could be a home for him. Now, in 1 hour and 5 minutes, will that matter? We'll find out. But what I can tell you is that it made a great impression on Paul George, and he really does feel like he and Russell Westbrook can figure this out. Now, here's where I give Billy Donovan some credit, because he changed some things to get Paul George the ball on the move, because he likes to have it on the move.
Is he underrated?
Where it wasn't quite as static as it was at the beginning of the year. Now, is that enough? Because they got bounced. I
don't know about underrated, man. I think he just does what he can do, which is hustle. Which is hustle. I mean, that's effort.
Pretty much the same thing next year.
I'm not gonna say he sucks.
He's going to have a lot of suitors, I think, in free agency.
I guess if he were on my team, I would like it. Yeah, he's another Avery Bradley type dude. So, but Avery Bradley has a more consistent jump shot.
Depth is an issue, clearly.
But yeah,
Andre Robertson went out. It shouldn't have been.
He's a good hustle guy. I'll give you that.
When I look at it, though, you talk about.
I'll put some respect on his name.
Did they ever look like a winning team to you at any point during the course of the season?
No, and certainly once Andre Robertson. No, because when Andre Robertson, they absolutely did. Because they had the ability.
What do you think OKC would do?
They had stretches of 11 games where they were.
If Paul George stays, and they bring back that whole trio of Melo, Westbrook, and Paul George, how do you think they would turn out next year? Do you think it's going to be more the same? They're going to be middling around throughout the NBA season, and then be another first round bounce, or do you think they'll get better?
Together, the fact that what came next was Corey Brewer. And Corey had a really profoundly positive impact on them because he forced them to play at a greater pace because Corey just runs the lane hard all the time. And he dragged everyone with him. He got them playing faster, which both Paul and Russ really need. The guy who didn't benefit from it was Carmelo. And that might be a situation. Exactly. That might be a situation where it once was a big three, and it was a big three, and Steven Adams was the third name.
This is my man Melo.
Carmelo.
They might have to.
Fit the depth.
They might have to buy Melo out. You know what? I think Melo should just suck it up and play power forward. Play power forward. He has the mismatch every time he plays power forward. That's when they won 54 games in New York. I forgot who went down, but they moved Melo to the power forward, and that team kind of took off. So why doesn't he like playing power forward?
Agreed.
I mean, you're not as fast as you were as your younger age, and you're going against guys like the Greek Freak and Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, it's not a good look for you, Melo. Just move the power forward. What's my man? Paul George. Like, just have a small ball lineup and have Steven Adams at the 5. So if I were OKC, I would have Steven Adams at the 5, Melo at the 4, George at 3, Roberson or whoever at the 2, and Russell Westbrook at the 1.
Somewhere in the neighborhood.
They need to get out and run.
$1 million-ish. So is that it? It's a lot of money, and it's enough money that I don't see how they paid Paul George $30 million and pay Carmelo Anthony and then field the rest of the roster. This is a small market team. We talked earlier about the Warriors and maybe the Rockets paying a tremendous amount of money. What about the Thunder in the market that they're in?
Oh, come on, man.
This is a team that barely made the playoffs. Can you put that kind of money in this? So to me,
so I just got the alert on my phone saying that the Lakers are pursuing Boogie Cousins.
They know there's a no trade clause. Well, when you trade someone with a no trade
I hope they don't get Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins needs to come to DC.
And he doesn't want to be traded.
You have a better chance of winning in DC than in LA because you're going to be running against the Golden State Warriors, then the Houston Rockets. You know, you're not going to beat any of those teams. If you come to DC,
might be the solution, and I really think this is.
You have a chance at beating, you know,
is stretching out Carmelo.
Everybody.
Basically buying him out.
You know, we're one player away, one All-Star player away.
He's owed 1 year.
So Boogie Cousins, please come to DC.
So you stretch it out over 3 years, and then you're paying him about $9 million. So what that could do, it could, in the end, save them in the neighborhood of about $80 million. So let me ask you this: do you pay this year Carmelo Anthony?
Thanks for the subscribe, Rafi. I appreciate it.
I feel like that's an easy answer.
So you're saying, just to make sure I get this clear, Melo off the roster, question of how he fits gone, and I save $80 million?
It's got to happen. And it's unfortunate. He's been one of the best All-Stars, one of the most entertaining players. I've always liked Carmelo Anthony. I got to interview him when he was a rookie. That's basically when I just started my career. So he gets to go somewhere else. Maybe he picks up at the Warriors and goes and wins the ring. You never know.
Eric, let me ask you a question, and this is something that I'm sure is absolutely not allowed for in the rules.
So, is OKC going to buy out Melo? If he buys out Melo, I mean, if they buy out Melo, then no, he can. I think he can still help a team out.
And then bring them back on minimum. Does that vehicle still exist? Does that loophole still exist if they were to buy out Carmelo? Could they bring him back?
That's an interesting one. So there's something called amnesty that is no longer part of the league. And the rule is that you couldn't re-sign that player while their contract existed. So if they were amnestying him, which is no longer a thing, then the answer would be a clear no. Now, stretching him, you're allowed to waive a player and then re-sign him. So I haven't seen any changes. I don't remember seeing something in the CBA. I might need to double check because, every time you think you know.
So this guy's talking about OKC could waive Carmelo Anthony, basically, and give him all his money, but bring him back, at league minimum. Because, if you were to buy that player out, that money comes off the books. So that saves them about how much is Melo making? Like $30 million, something like that. Saves them $30 million. And they can bring in another good player.
How compelling he is
with Melo still on the roster.
The fact that he has your back and will run through a brick wall for you was really meaningful for Paul. I think Carmelo was similar for some of those guys, right? And I think was meaningful for those guys. So if he matters to you as a teammate, I think you could absolutely see them do that.
Oh, so apparently Melo's teammates love him in OKC.
Glue guys, we call them puzzle pieces for championship teams. I want to look at some of the guys. Thank you. Yeah? I appreciate that.
That was almost as smooth as that tie.
It's news is changing agents on free agent favor. Mine is David Aldridge. You can reach me on. No, go ahead. Greg, what do we got here?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. When the only thing that's going to mark success for your franchise is winning a championship, sometimes there's only one piece that really fits. There's only one guy who can play the role you need. And these are some guys in this free agency that I think are going to be meaningful to teams.
We do not need Trevor Ariza. Wizards, please don't bring him back. I mean, he's a good player, but how many small forwards are we going to have? Otto Porter, Troy Brown, Kelly Oubre.
Going deep in the playoffs is going to appreciate it. Right? And Trevor's probably looking at a situation where he's either going to have to take taxpayer or non-taxpayer mid-level from someone. Yeah. Now, odds are very good he stays in Houston. But we've already gone into some detail Eric has on what their financial situation could really look like. So Trevor Ariza is a guy that I think you have to look at as an incredibly high-value target if you are a team ready to win significantly. It's a piece that
I don't want Boogie Cousins to go to LA.
Philadelphia may get to sway the
Please don't go to LA, Boogie.
Whatever big name thing they do. And all of those pieces are meaningful. And you saw on there, Redick and Ilyasova are on the list.
Okay, I just got another alert saying that Will Barton signed with the Nuggets for $50 million. Good for him. I like Will Barton.
If falls healthy, it may not be fair,
Mm-hmm.
but they probably win that series. If you're Golden State, do you not try and take Trevor Ariza away?
Well, you try, but you can't pay for everybody. You can't have everybody on your team. And even though Trevor Ariza had a nightmarish game 7, 0 for 12 from the floor against Golden State,
everybody was 0 for everything.
Man, because he
that last Houston game against
not only a great
Golden State
player, he's just a great teammate. Period. He's the guy people they know how serious he is. He's about the work. He's about getting things done on the basketball court. He's about good practice habits. All of those things. Has become an outstanding pro, and that's the kind of guy. Every team he's been on the last 5 or 6 years, they are so much better defensively with him because coaches literally will give him the freedom to do whatever the hell he wants in the week. So that's how good he is defensively because they know at the end of the day he'll be where he's supposed to be.
Catch and shoot 3 and these guys, who know how to make the next pass.
Yeah,
you just can't say enough how much those mean to teams when you're playing in big moments.
Griff was like an elementary school Valentine's Day to put the notes in the desk. Get a lot of those on Twitter here. Ryan Alessio, I wish David Griffin was in the Cavaliers front office on the phones, not on NBA TV talking about free agency, but he is here.
Ryan, David Griffin does not wish that.
For those who are checking in, I'm giving you, pretty much up to the minute updates on NBA free agency. It's 11:07 right now. Just got the alert on my phone that Boogie Cousins is likely target on short-term contract to the LA Lakers. I don't want that to happen. I want Boogie Cousins to come to my Washington Wizards.
Double the marinated steak and the medium drink. Taco Bell's do $5.
But if he goes there, and he could potentially team up with LeBron James, so you're gonna have LeBron James, Boogie Cousins, and then you're gonna have whoever it is they got on their roster: Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, Kyle Kuzma. They got some young pieces, some pieces that can play. A lot of people be getting on Lonzo Ball, man, but I think Lonzo Ball can play. Lonzo Ball is pretty nice, man. Got an ugly jump shot. That's the only thing bad I can say about his game. He has an ugly jump shot, and he's not as aggressive as he should be. Because if you watch him play, he can ball. Lonzo Ball can ball.
Santorini Breeze. Take it all in every day.
I have a trainer that's working out with me in my home.
Johnny, you're incredible.
You got Johnny on the spot.
Johnny on the spot.
Mr. Johnny on the spot.
Telling you could do this.
That's fantastic.
Come on, keep pushing with me. Or even tell you to get off your treadmill, and it's frustrating. I could feel those muscles burn.
As you're going up, the incline is going up.
In a 12-week study, following the workout and diet guide found at NordicTrack.com/incline study.
Don't make sense. It don't make sense for him to go to LA.
I don't know. How do I look?
What are you doing, dog?
What are you doing, dog? Go get like go to NordicTrack.com now.
These birds, once affected by oil, are heading back home thanks to Dawn. Rescue workers only trust Dawn because it's tough on grease yet gentle. I am home. I am home. Hey, ready? Ready? Vamos. Ready?
The Junior NBA World Championship. 32 elite boys and girls teams from around the globe will compete
For a chance to be named Junior NBA World Champion.
at the Junior NBA World Championship. Get ready. Ready on 3. Ready.
Will Barton, will the thrill? Gotta love the energy and the way he plays. The question is, DA, does it stay in Denver?
I think it's looking.
Denver got a nice little team.
the numbers could
Denver,
go up.
man, without an All-Star, they almost
But I
made
think Denver's
the playoffs.
Denver's aware that he was going to be in high
And then I'm not sure how they're going
he's one of those
to.
guys that comes on the market not frequently.
I'm not sure what's going on with Michael Porter Jr. Like I said before, I wanted the Wizards to draft him, but Denver had to pick him for us, and they ended up picking him. And then I read something that the Wizards weren't even going to pick him up if he were available because they're the Wizards.
I think Denver was coming for at the 11th hour. Probably.
If he plays, man, I think he's gonna be a pretty decent player. He'll fit in quite nicely with them. Whether he comes off the bench, in a 6-man role, or if he starts.
Did a terrific job last year. Wanted to be a 1. He's gotten to play the 1. You got Gary Harris locked up. Sort of similar players because they're shooters. You got Will Barton. Does this all fit in terms of those 3 guards getting a chance to all play the way that they did last year?
Well, to the point you made about Paul. The reason that they were hurt so much by his absence is that their 2 best passers are their 2 big men, Jokic and Millsap.
Damn! I forgot Paul Millsap played for the Denver Nuggets, and he's a pretty good player. I like Paul Millsap.
They don't have ball dominant, play creation, veterans, savvy, set guys up point guards. What they had were guys that were sort of combo guards, and they really needed that ancillary playmaking of Millsap and Jokic. And so I think what they're going to look to do is add somebody who can be a traditional point guard, particularly now that they've added Barton or could potentially be adding Barton for a good sum of money. You're going to be looking at a list.
Oh, so he hasn't signed yet. It says Will Barton close would deal with the Nuggets, but Pacers are still in play.
Yeah.
But I thought it said on my phone that Will Barton signed with them for $50 million.
Facilitating pieces that gives you 8 to 10 minutes a game on a really good team and helps make those pieces fit.
Looks like Barton will be a fit back in Denver, but Eric, take me through how it fits financially.
They are going to pay some tax, at least if they're paying what is rumored, and then they're going to pay Nikola Jokic. They could have paid Jokic just $1.6 million, which would have been a bargain. They wouldn't have to worry about tax. But he would have been an unrestricted free agent next summer, and they would have risked losing him. You can lock him in for real money. They have to pay him about, if he gets his next $25 million roughly. That's a lot of money for Barton. Now Jokic, suddenly they're a tax team, and it's not a huge market. We get into the same kind of conversations we had. And teams look to dump guys like Wilson Chandler in this particular case. Gosh, those guys 10-3. Those guys were supposedly on the block and that 14th pick. Remember, they had the 14th pick. Michael Porter Jr. fell all the way, and they got him. They got lucky. They got a really nice potential kid out of that. But they were reportedly offering a first-round pick to dump those contracts because of the situation that they're facing right now. They wanted to keep Harden. They want to keep Jokic. They want to pay him now instead of risking losing him. So that's the situation there. They can pay the tax. And the interesting part about luxury tax is that it's not calculated until the end of the year.
They've been making it do what they do.
The trade deadline in February. It's not a move they have to make right now. But when you make a trade, teams have to send matching salary back unless they have the cap room to absorb. So do the Hawks take Luol Deng, or do they take Ryan Anderson, guys we talked about earlier in the show? I know that the Nuggets need to be on the phone now and try to get those guys off their books so they can get out of that tax efficiently.
Appreciate the knowledge, Eric. When you talk about being efficient, you talk about value, right? You want to try and get the most bang for your buck. Clearly, as a GM, you're always thinking about that. Let's talk value plays. Look at them almost like they're stocks. Kind of who's on the buy low list, or the list of maybe not big names, Griff, but guys who can give you a big help.
Well, to some degree, I think this is true, and we have a graphic of this as well. But to some degree, the reason for this is that you're talking about guys that have had injuries that are going to be in the free agent pool. And because of the injuries, they may be available for less, and they may be available for less.
Ed Davis, no, he's trash. Rudy Gay's pretty decent. Anthony Tolliver's always been trash. Avery Bradley's decent. Wayne Ellington is decent. Mario Hezonja is.
His injury situation last year, because of Avery Bradley's ongoing injury situations, these are guys that you may.
Ed Davis always been trash, so I'm surprised he's still in the league.
Healthy and be really impactful. You look at an Ellington, who is also a piece we talked about being a puzzle piece. A guy like that shoots at that level.
Watch us end up with Ed Davis, man.
Veteran, a truly special human being in your locker room. You're going to pay for that, but you're not going to have to be competing in deep water for that again, because there's not a preponderance of cap space available.
Right.
So these guys end up on deals at good teams on one of the exceptions that they have available, and then you end up really being able to maximize the value of your overall roster. One name that's on there that's totally unique to the rest. It's sort of that some of these things are like the others. One of these things is doing its own thing. It's Mario Hezonja. So the reason I've got him on the value list, Mario's 23 years of age. He just turned 23 years of age. And he had a tremendous second half of the season. He had stretches where he averaged 18 points a game over 10 games.
Yeah, Mario's only ain't bad.
He was
but we don't need another swing, man.
Find himself as a shooter and as a scorer. If you are a team with some cap space and you have the ability to put him in a winning environment for the first time in his career,
what are you doing?
You might find something special in the form of Mario Hezonja that you can grow with over time.
I'm fascinated by Ed Davis. I'm a big Ed Davis guy. Ed Davis is an old school, to me, big man. He rebounds, he finishes at the rim, he bends both at the rim and out front. And I just think you can't have enough good basketball players like Ed Davis on your team. And so, but my question is, in a league where three-point shooting, as we know now, is everything, right? You can't play in this league if you don't shoot three. Let Davis don't shoot three. So my question is, what are you willing to pay for a guy who does everything but that and helps your team win basketball games? And I'll be fascinated to see what the market is for him. And I know it's a smaller market because there's just not that many teams to cap him. But with the little bump that they got up, that mid-level now becomes a little more enticing.
I don't want to pick
than
him up.
it may have been before. And so does a guy like Ed Davis get that benefit of the doubt from a good team that maybe feels like it needs one more good
Come on over here.
And does he know he can end up in a situation where he's taking taxpayer mid-level or less? Yeah. Does he end up in a situation where he goes to the right for himself for minimum? Yeah. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility for all the reasons you mentioned.
There you go.
I really like Ed as a facilitating piece, a guy who can be a key part of your bench because he's sort of a jack of all trades and master of none. He's not exactly a dynamic rolling finisher, but he can give you some of that.
I don't care Ed Davis from DC or not, man. I don't want him on the team.
But he's really not.
Come on, bro.
He can be a stopgap for you, and when you're trying to win at a really high level, the minutes you get from an Ed Davis matter a lot more than they do in a situation where you're just trying to win games.
If he's our backup center, then I'll tolerate Ed Davis. But he's not. Nah, bro.
Magic, not necessarily. Which is why it's maybe not so fascinating that a 23-year-old who's an untapped resource would maybe leave and they would allow it. But what about Aaron Gordon? What happens with him, DA?
Well, look, I mean, there will be teams that make room. I would be, I shouldn't say surprised. That's not the word I mean. I don't think if you're a rebuilding team as Orlando is, you can afford to let your pieces go. We saw this last year in Washington out of Porter. They wound up paying $108 million for out of Porter. And people would say, well, out of Porter's not worth $108 million.
Oh, my team is the Washington Wizards, man. Who's your team?
What about you can't let your young players leave? You can't do it. You can always trade somebody later on. Maybe except Ryan Anderson.
Oh, you like Phoenix? That's what's up. I like DeAndre Ayton, man. I like him. He actually reminds me a lot of Amari Stoudemire. For real.
How can you let someone like that walk? I mean, I just think I would be surprised if Orlando didn't.
Where you from, Vikings?
I'm sure teams are going to be very aggressive about Aaron Gordon.
I am essentially of the same mind you are, but let me play
the yeah. Y'all got him and y'all got the kid from Villanova.
You don't pay Aaron Gordon if you're Orlando, and you wait for that sheet.
Oh, what's my man from Villanova? Bridges.
Space, that sheet may not be forthcoming.
Right.
And so you could be in a situation where you could really have all the leverage.
All right, that's what's up, man.
A big issue here.
Mako, Arizona.
The first players who's come up in this conversation tonight that really made me think of it. In situations where you are a perennial lottery team, as we were in Cleveland, when you are in the lottery year over year, if you're in there too long,
so how you think y'all gonna do?
Pay them max. You've never had to see them carry the mail and win a basketball.
I think y'all trending upwards, man. I really like DeAndre Ayton. I think he's gonna be the best player in the draft.
Several injuries before he really had to produce wins.
Yeah.
It happens.
I like
but
what y'all did
it's a
too.
terrifying thing to do when you're the team doing it. And in the case of Jeff Weltman and John Hammonds, who did not draft Aaron Gordon,
Oh yeah. Well,
may actually keep
yeah,
them from giving
they're building a pretty solid team because I like Devin Booker. Devin Booker had like 71 points last year. Or was it 2 years ago? But he's one of my favorite two guards in the game. Then you got Ayton, who I say is the next Amari Stoudemire. Then you got Mikal Bridges, who's very underrated. Josh Jackson, yeah, I like Josh Jackson. So yeah, y'all got a nice little young team. I don't think y'all are gonna make the playoffs next year. You know, this upcoming season, but the year afterwards, man. Like once those players get a little more season, a little more experience, you know, be on the lookout for the Suns.
Feeling lucky, Robbie? I write it.
Yeah, it's a very young team.
Play on the new Land Classic game. Choose from over 9,000 titles with free shipping and no late fees. Start your 30-day free trial at GameFly.com.
Robbie never had a chance. Jesse.
Those who's watching, welcome to the live stream. You know, this is just me talking NBA free agency, and it keeps going back to my Washington Wizards because I feel like I'm the only real Washington Wizards fan out here. There's not too many of us around, but yeah, I'm a Washington Wizards fan. But we talking about all the teams, you know. Yeah, I like the NFL. My team is actually the Philadelphia Eagles. And so I really don't know how to feel about my Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl because I'm so used to my teams not winning. You know, it's hard being it's hard being me when it comes to sports.
6 months, right? Yeah, 10 and 6 months. Here's to living life.
Oh yeah. Oh, you like the Vikings? I didn't see that coming though. I was really surprised when we beat the Vikings the way we did. I was nervous. But you know, being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you know, we always expect the worst. You know, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan who doesn't like other Eagles fans, if that makes sense. Like I don't like other Eagles fans.
Watch them ball in the MGM Resort NBA Summer League 2018. Coverage begins Friday.
Yeah, man. You know who they remind me of? They remind me of Boston Red Sox fans before they won their first World Series back in 2004. That's what Philadelphia Eagle fans are like. They're crazy annoying, crazy whiny, you know. I probably met like 3 Philadelphia Eagles fans that I liked, and I'm one of them. You know, so delusional. I'm part of this Philadelphia Eagles fan group on Facebook, and these guys are nuts, man. Nuts. It's just constantly whining about stuff, man. Me, it still hasn't sunk in yet. Well, now I realize we won the Super Bowl, but I didn't know how to react because I'm so used to my teams losing. Look, check this out, bro. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I'm a Washington Wizards fan. I'm a Georgetown Hoyas basketball fan. I'm a Virginia Tech college football fan. All those teams, you know, just kind of blow it in the end, man. Pause. All those teams kind of choke all the time, especially Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech football.
He's still trying to woo LeBron. We got to bring in Howard back.
Yeah, man. Like they just hurt my feelings. So when the Philadelphia Eagles won, I was just like, you know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether to cheer or cry or, you know, like it had to be like a couple months later, like in April. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, my Eagles won the Super Bowl. But now, like most of my friends are NFC East fans. So they're either Redskins, especially Redskins, or Cowboys fans, or Giants fans. And so I look at it as we're still 2 championships behind. Everybody in the division has at least 3 Super Bowls. We only have 1. So now we're 2 behind everybody else.
Not until we actually.
So when we win that second Super Bowl, man, that's when I'll start talking my junk.
Whether it's the uninterrupted video from LeBron, people that comes out, whether it's Lee Jenkins with an essay, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, man, it's the life, man. It's the life of a sports fan.
I'll apply that same.
Just when you're so used to losing, when you finally win, you don't know how to react. Like when we won, I was just like, I was just sat there for a minute. Oh yeah. Oh, and I'm a Washington Nationals fan. I like this kid, Juan Soto.
I like him. Everyone was waiting on Kawhi. How much?
That was crazy. That was crazy. Case Keenum to my man, Stephon Diggs.
I think that LeBron James.
I remember watching that, and I was just like, nah. You know what happened? Marcus Williams put his head down when all he had to do was make that tackle. He put his head down, didn't see where he was aiming at, and Diggs got loose and was just gone. I was just like, wow. All he had to do was make the tackle, but he just kind of dove like that with his eyes closed, man. Poor kid. He was a rookie, and he's a pretty good player too. I like Marcus Williams. I really do. I like his game. But I think his rookie season was defined by that one play, even though he was solid. He was solid all year. I think he's going to be a really good player. If he doesn't let that kind of linger in the back of his mind, because I thought he was dope.
He's just doing it, period. And maybe he believes because he's LeBron James that, hey, if I'm there, guys will come. And we don't know how the Kawhi Leonard situation will pan out because it's not up to Kawhi. It's not even up to the Lakers.
Yeah, he played pretty well.
You can't count on that.
They're talking about Kawhi Leonard right now.
I believe that
Howard Beck from Bleacher Report.
But look, they know that they're a year away, the Lakers, from cap room again, and a tremendous.
It depends. I think the Lakers would be good if they get LeBron? I don't know. It depends. It depends on if they get somebody else, man. Because you just got LeBron, and then who else? You got young guys. Hopefully, Lonzo and Brandon Ingram and Julius Randle develops enough. And what's the other kid? Kyle Kuzma. I hope they develop enough to where they can compete. Because right now, if he were to go to the Lakers, LeBron's going to be running into Golden State in the first round every year. He's going to lose every year because I really don't think they have enough.
Dealing with a lot of tweets, I know on Twitter.
What's happening? You got LeBron and a bunch of young guys if he ends up with the Lakers. So I think it's best for him to stay in Cleveland.
The reason is
stay in Cleveland, man. And you're LeBron James. Somebody else will come there and play with you for free, basically.
Spent more money in the last 4 years.
Players be taking less money to go play with LeBron
in Cleveland than any owner in the history of this league in terms of the tax money he's paid. So they're sitting in that room right now with all of the pressure being brought to bear on how do they continue to reinvent.
Yeah, I don't see why would he jump right into the division with Golden State. And then to potentially lose to them every year in the first round. Won't even make it to the finals or the conference finals.
That brings into your life. I would rather be in almost any other room than have to deal with that right this particular moment, because when the only thing that will work is
I really want us to get Boogie Cousins, man.
Fine margin for error.
We don't have enough money to sign him outright, but we can do a sign and trade.
Every single year is LeBron. It's a terrible.
The most logical trade is do a straight up trade and maybe a draft pick with
have a roster that
Otto Porter. I don't want to see Otto Porter go because he's very efficient for us. He reminds me of Sean Marion. He's like Sean Marion and Tayshaun Prince put together. But if you want to make the money match up, because in the NBA you got to have similar money. Money got to be, I think, no more than $1 million off or something like that.
But that's $53 million.
And
53 million.
That's the most logical trade to make without giving up John Wall or Bradley Beal.
So Chris Paul's in the same boat. Paul George, I believe.
So I want DeMarcus Cousins.
Okay, so he's 1 year short. KD, what's his number? Right. So those numbers are incredible, and still not the Kawhi Leonard number.
Right, and to go back to the Chris Paul thing,
it's actually a little higher now because the Cats.
If we can just add Boogie Cousins to my Wizards, I think that will put us right there. We can compete with Boston and Philly. And depending on what Cleveland does with LeBron James, put us right there.
Assuming that's not the case,
we just need one more all-star player and fill out the rest of the roster. Kind of like what Golden State did. And even if we don't get, Boogie Cousins, just build out the rest of our roster. We can be like the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets got 2 all-star players and a bunch of pretty good players. You got Chris Paul and James Harden. Then they got Clint Capella and Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker, Trevor Ariza. They have a bunch of decent players on the team. Like we got John Wall, Bradley Beal, and then nobody else. Basically. Well, I say Otto Porter's pretty decent. Otto Porter's alright. I don't think Clint Capella's leaving. I think they really want to sign him because you got to remember when James Harden, Chris Paul, and Clint Capella all played together, because a lot of them missed like chunks of the season. But when all of them played together, they were basically unbeatable, man. I think in the regular season they were like 45-1 or something like that. So I think they're going to try to bring back Clint Capella, but the biggest hang up is they don't know what to do with Chris Paul. They got to find a way to keep him and Chris Paul. I like Clint Capella. That's the reason why they let Dwight Howard go. They just let him walk because Clint Capella is pretty much a younger version of Dwight Howard.
But I do think, though, I think it's really
and cheaper. But I think he's going to be getting paid a lot more than him now.
Did come out and say their number one job is
they got to find a way to keep him.
They understand his significance.
Got to find a way to keep Clint Capella.
And I also think that there's a potential that because Chris Paul is also part of leadership from the Players Association, LeBron being part of that, Chris is probably not giving them a discount either.
I would suspect
and that's probably meaningful to your point about the cap going up.
We talked about this in the outside of the show, but I want to revisit it for those who are coming in now.
Houston might be in trouble if they let Chris Paul walk.
Take us to kind of where you're at. We know certainly where.
Well, I kind of want to see Chris Paul go to Cleveland. I want to see him go. I want to see Chris Paul win. I want to see Chris Paul win something. I want to see him go to Cleveland. I want to see LeBron James stay in Cleveland.
Where are the GMs right now of the teams as we sit 25 minutes away? What is
25 minutes away from 12 o'clock?
Those teams have done their work.
Come on, Boogie. Come on, Boogie Cousins to DC.
Weighed in on what their target group needs to look like.
I'm going to start doing rain dance pretty soon.
How that negotiation should
start praying to the NBA gods. Just let me get this. Just let me get Boogie Cousins. I won't ask for anything else.
To sort of exhale a little bit before they get on these phone calls. But I think what's fascinating in being here, I'm able to actually.
Yeah, I don't think. You think LeBron is done with Cleveland?
When a deal gets announced at 12:01. How much have to
he might. I don't know, man. Him and not Dan Snyder. He's got a name.
I'm not good enough.
Dan Gilbert have a very contentious relationship. So yeah, he might be done. I just don't want to see him leave. I'm not a LeBron fan. Not a LeBron fan. Actually, kind of a LeBron hater. I mean, just because I'm a Wizards fan. Nothing against him.
Right.
But I want him to stay in Cleveland because I realize what he means to that whole area. You know, and I'm just not a big fan of, you know, superstars bouncing from team to team. Even though he's only been to Miami and he came back to Cleveland. But if he goes to the LA Lakers, it's not like, you know, the Lakers are going to be known as his team. It's because, you know, he's going to be playing in the shadow of Kobe, Magic, Shaq, Kareem,
but who's going to pay them?
Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, all those guys. It's like all those guys have won. Well, I don't think Elgin Baylor won. But Wilt Chamberlain, all those great Lakers. And then you got LeBron James. Like, is he going to be a footnote in Laker history? Unless he wins like 4 or 5 in a row.
I don't know if Atlanta's there. I don't know if there's a number of teams. Like, where are the Sacramento Kings in this? There aren't a lot of teams that have money. And so where do you go to get paid if you're a free agent? What that may end up happening is players may just re-sign, but on a short-term deal, a 2-year deal with an opt-out, and hit free agency next year, because next year is a whole new
man.
2019.
No, we should just.
What we had in 2016. You're going to have somewhere around 25 teams.
64 million again?
It would be nice to see Paul go to Cleveland, but
He's already in Charlotte. He's already in Charlotte. 12-1 when that happened. But really, there's so much money.
Yeah.
I mean, teams are going to be in a
if Chris Paul goes to Cleveland with LeBron James, and you know they already have Kevin Love, right there, that's a pretty decent team. Right there, that's a pretty decent team. Because I think Chris Paul's the top 3-point guard. Kevin Love is vastly underrated. Vastly underrated. It's just when you play with LeBron, unless you're a point guard like Kyrie Irving, like you're gonna take a step back. You know, he will make, like, for instance, Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was a 25 and 12 guy before he went to Miami. The year before he went to Miami, he was like 25 and 12. Something ridiculous. He goes to Miami and he goes down to, you know, like 16 and 8, and people are like, what happened to Chris Bosh? He's trash. Chris Bosh, man, he pretty much, you know, adjusted his game. Chris Bosh was never a 3-point shooter, but when he got to when he got to Miami, he became a 3-point shooter. You know, he had to adjust his whole game because even though LeBron James has his reputation as being a pass-first guy, still very ball dominant. He controls the tempo of the game just by being on the floor. LeBron James is going to control the tempo, and so he would you know, probe the defense for, you know, 18 seconds before he decides what he wants to do with the ball, whether it's pass it or shoot it. You know, so it kind of takes away from a guy like who's not a wing or perimeter player like a Kevin Love or Chris Bosh. So people got to look at all that. So we see the same thing happening to Kevin Love. Kevin Love was a 25-point scorer in Minnesota. You know, when his only teammate was Ricky Rubio. And he comes to Cleveland, his numbers dip dramatically, and people are like, what's happening to Kevin Love? But he's playing with LeBron James, and so he's not going to be the go-to guy. He's not going to be the go-to guy. But a player like a Kyrie Irving would still be Kyrie Irving because he's a point guard anyway, so he's going to have the ball. You know, unless he's like Derek Fisher. But Kyrie Irving is no Derek Fisher. If you're a decent point guard playing with LeBron, you know, you still have your time to be you. You know what I mean? But if you're a player like, I don't know, Norris Cole, Mario Chalmers, one of those type of guys, you're not gonna see the ball much. Derek Fisher he was clutch. He was clutch, but you know, Derek Fisher, he wasn't a traditional point guard. He was just a spot-up guy. Kobe Bryant did most of the ball handling. Kobe Bryant, and then later on was Lamar Odom. They did the ball handling. Derek Fisher just played defense and spotted up.
Man, this really does feel good.
He wasn't a traditional, run your offense through type point guard.
Support just got bigger, badder, and better. Call 1-800-949-1082 or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99. This does feel good. That's what I've been saying. You think it was fair?
20 minutes to go. 20 minutes to go, man. I shouldn't be this excited, but I am. I shouldn't be this excited, but I am.
Is that girl? Girl needs help. Take it to her.
Really, I should be doing Spanish homework.
Oh, you did. You change your color.
It is what it is.
Yes, I was busy. 24-hour multi systems from America's
What?
number one motorcycle.
Boogie to the Wizards. Where you see that at? I hope it's true, man. You about to give me a heart attack, bro.
Into a meal. A 3-cheese blend, pico de gallo, double the marinated steak, and a medium drink.
Oh, man, come on, bro. Oh. Well, I got my fingers and toes crossed. Got my fingers and toes crossed, man. I'm waiting. I really hope we end up getting them.
I thought maybe. How great is that, by the way? Joe Barber, breaking news today.
It is. Hey, look, I don't know if you're supposed to leak that information.
I'll tell you said Paul George Barber broke the news.
We know that Paul George is there. There was so much talk here over the last couple months about.
I like Paul George's game, man. He's a very smooth player. I like his game. He reminds me a little bit of T-Mac.
Right. Do you look at it?
He's like T-Mac and Scottie Pippen. Like he has like a Scottie Pippen type personality. Like he's pretty chill, but he's got T-Mac skills.
3 months now, is that the Thunder did an amazing job of putting an incredible presentation together for Paul George. When they traded for him,
is it official? Paul George is staying with OKC.
There was a party there when he got there where they spent a lot of money to fly everybody with not unsubstantial amounts of food and drink. And it's been that way all season in Oklahoma City. They have done everything to make him feel like this could be a home for him. Now, in 1 hour and 5 minutes, will that matter? We'll find out. But all I can tell you is that it made a
about 15. Well, what time is it? 11:43. 17 minutes. 17 minutes. We'll find out if Paul George stays with OKC.
To get Paul George the ball on the move, because he likes to have it on the move, to feature him more in some things where it wasn't quite as static as it was at the beginning of the year. Now,
Van Vliet, I like Van Vliet from Toronto. I like him.
No direct way for them to get better necessarily. It's going to be pretty much the same team next year.
I don't know, man. It's looking like Toronto. I just read something that Toronto was actually shopping Kyle Korver. I mean, not Kyle Korver, Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and Van Vliet may be the heir apparent to him.
When I look at it, though, you talk about. We're going to talk later about puzzle pieces, compiling a team. Did they ever look like a winning team to you at any point?
You think Van Vliet's the best point guard after Chris Paul in free agency? Well, he might be. There's a big drop-off, though, between Chris Paul and Van Vliet. I can't recall any other decent point guards being free agents this year.
And when you can be that,
I like Van Vliet though. I think if he would have played in the series against my Wizards, we would have got swept.
When you know who's going to generate,
we just played horrible. I think talent-wise, we were better than Toronto. But,
so a healthy Robertson changed
just a lot of infighting between John Wall and Marcin Gortat.
The fact that what team next was Corey Brewer,
and you can see it out on the floor. You know what I mean?
Positive impact on them because he forced them to play at a greater pace.
Because see it out on the floor, like those two just didn't want to play ball with each other.
And he dragged everyone with him.
He had to go.
He got them playing faster, which both Paul and Russ really need. The guy who didn't benefit from it was Carmelo. And that might be a situation
Yeah. Oh, and Marcus Smart, he's actually a free agent too. I think he's a restricted free agent, but he's a free agent.
Right. Yeah.
You might be looking at a situation
So
where they may
if Boston can't,
to be able to
cash him out, man, he might end up somewhere.
And Eric can explain to us what that looks like, but that's a situation where
I wouldn't mind Marcus Smart, but we already have wings and point guards. We need a center. We need somebody who's going to grab a rebound. That's the main reason why I want Boogie Cousins, because I'm sick of Marcin Gortat slapping the ball, leading the fast breaks for the other team. I'm sick of that. Sick of him missing layups. I'm sick of him getting dunked on. I'm tired of Marcin Gortat. So I wasn't too sad to see him leave. It's just we brought in the Duke guy, and I was just like, ugh. I guess I got what I
So there was a stretch.
Got what I wish for.
They were really playing well. Agreed. So can they replicate that, I guess, and can they improve upon that? That to me is the major question.
You know what irritates me about the Washington Wizards too? Man, this just came across the ticker. Bojan Bogdanovic. We traded a first round pick for this guy who played 21 games for us, and we couldn't re-sign him. We didn't re-sign him. We just let him walk, and now he's in Indiana, handling business.
And it's enough money that
that was our scoring off the bench right there. I wouldn't have been mad at the trade if we would have just kept him. If we would have kept him.
We talked earlier about
but we traded a first round pick for him, and then we end up not signing him back. That was very stupid.
$300 million, is that tenable? This is a team that barely made the playoffs. Can you put that kind of money in this? So to me, they have to get out of Carmelo Anthony. New York Knicks fans, they know that he has a no trade clause. Well, when you trade someone with a no trade clause, they keep it. So if the Thunder try to trade him and he doesn't want to be traded, you got a problem. And then if you trade him, you pretty much have to match salary, unless someone like the Lakers want to take him with their cap space. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think that's going to happen.
So OKC, yeah. So OKC
is stretching out.
Are they going to try to
buying him out?
Are they going to try to trade Carmelo Anthony?
$27 million
or are they trying to buy him out?
You multiply that times 2 and add 1, so you stretch out over 3 years, and then you're paying them about $9 million. So what that could do, it could, in the end, save them in the neighborhood of about $80 million. So let me ask you this: do you pay this year Carmelo Anthony, or do you save $80 million? I feel like that's an easy answer.
So you're saying, just to make sure I get this clear, Melo off the roster, question of how he fits gone, and I save $80 million?
It's got to happen. And it's unfortunate. And he's been one of the best all-stars, one of the...
So they're talking about buying out Melo.
Carmelo Anthony. I got to interview him when he was a rookie. That's basically when I just started my career. So
talking about buying out Carmelo Anthony.
He gets to go somewhere else. Maybe he picks up with the Warriors and goes and wins the ring. You never know.
Eric,
I don't want to see Melo with the Warriors. I don't want to.
Sure is absolutely not
you know me. I still think Melo is an effective player. I still think in the right system he can get you 20 points a game. I truly believe that, because if you just watch him play, he hasn't lost anything athletically. It's just he didn't fit in with the scheme. Like, you got 3 ball dominant guys, 3 ball dominant scoring guys who all play on the perimeter.
While their contract existed,
that rarely works in the NBA. You got Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. And then Carmelo Anthony,
I haven't seen.
He's more of an ISO scorer. And the game has kind of gotten away from that. It's more of a flowing, more up-tempo type game nowadays. And he never adjusted his game, like maybe 3 years ago. He never adjusted his game. But he still plays like, 2005 sometimes, man. Just give Melo the ball and get out the way. He still plays like that. There's more ball movement now. But in the right situation, I still think Carmelo Anthony can be a 20-point scorer.
Let's talk about what it means.
Who did Rudy Gay sign with?
A year ago, this was as talked about as anything when that trade.
Oh, welcome back, Raphael. Who did Rudy Gay sign with? Did he sign with you guys in Houston?
somehow either.
Oh, he signed with the Spurs?
From or with LeBron.
Cool.
When did that kind of swing back towards him returning to?
Well, we just talked about it. It was a year-long process that the Thunder undertook to try to convince Paul George that this was a place he could play long-term. And again, I say this and just pretty.
What do you think the Spurs are going to do with Kawhi?
After you heard about the Kawhi Leonard trade, well, Philly would be crazy to try to get Kawhi Leonard if he's only going to be.
It's official. PG is back in OKC.
This is why you get
well, I'm actually happy for OKC, man, because I didn't want to see. Ooh, good move, Paul George. I didn't want to see Paul George just leave them high and dry.
And so that's why you take the shot.
I didn't want to see that because I like Russell Westbrook. He plays hard. The bad shots, the turnovers. That he's trying to win. He's trying to win. Like that last game where they lost, the last game of the playoffs where they lost to the Warriors, and he almost had 50 shots. I wanted him to get 50 shots so bad. I think he put up 47 shots. That's impressive. That's impressive, man. 50 shots. Like he went down swinging. You gotta admire that.
Deal that starts at 30%. Right. 2 years from now, he gets to start at 35% of $116 million. Right. So let's not kid ourselves. This is very much financially motivated as well, because again, that money matters in a Paul George scenario in a way that it does not matter in the LeBron James.
Right. We also know now that his barber will be at the draft next year in Brooklyn telling you who the picks are before they're made. Eric Pincus, take us through
okay, Paul George intends to sign.
Well, that seems a little light as far as the max. It feels like
OKC. He said DeAndre Jordan has mutually agreed to sign with the Mavs. It was spurned him in 40. Yeah. That was hilarious. They locked him in They locked him in his house, wouldn't let him leave or something like that. Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. Ooh, that's crazy. 35% of the cap. Now he finally going there. Man, if I were Mark Cuban, I wouldn't want to go after DeAndre Jordan. I'm like, man, forget that. You had your chance like 2 years ago.
Higher than expected. I expected to be closer to about 113. Still a large number. So if you can cash in, if you're Paul George, now had he gone to the Lakers, they would have been able to sign him for however long, right? But if you wanted to do that 2-year deal,
let me see.
The market again in that 116 range.
We'll change to ESPN.
35% of that. The problem was the Lakers wouldn't have his rights. It takes 3 years.
See what they talking about on ESPN.
Call the purge.
Never mind. This is commercial.
So this is the best way for Paul George to maximize.
I kind of wanted my Wizards to get DeAndre Jordan too, but then I'm not a big fan of
LeBron. Paul George is not LeBron.
Centers who can't hit free throws. Anybody who can't hit free throws. You're a professional basketball player, and you shooting 35% from the free throw line, man. Slap yourself.
Really cash in. It's a bold move for a guy who suffered a catastrophic injury, that broken ankle. I thought that he would go long term. Like, let's just sign right now, get as much money as possible. But he's banking on himself.
But then Shaq, he actually had an offensive game. You know what I mean? Like Shaq didn't need somebody to throw him a lob every play. You know, Shaq had a jump hook. He had a spin move. You know, he had a legit post game. DeAndre Jordan, man, I haven't seen DeAndre make a regular basketball move in about 10 years. Everything he's done is a bit of putback.
What about what else they need?
You know, alley-oop lob type play.
Used to look like they were a team that could have beat.
Terrific athlete. I wouldn't mind him on my team, but I wouldn't. He's one of those guys I wouldn't pay $20 million for. Not him. Like, you got to be able to do something, man. You can't do a spin move. You ain't got to fade away, a jump hook, or nothing. What can you do? If I didn't have Chris Paul or Baron Davis or whoever else he's played with in his career throwing him lobs, how effective would he really be offensively? Because, you know, it's a scoring league now. Like, offense is kind of on the uptick now. You got to be able to do something.
We get so caught up.
Like, at least you can give Shaq the ball and be like, "Get me a bucket," and he can do that.
Two superstars.
DeAndre Jordan, I've never seen this dude do anything outside of a dunk. All he does is dunk and miss free throws. He's pretty good at dunking. Pretty good rebounding.
which I would argue is yet to be seen.
But if I wanted that, give me Stromile Swift. Give me Stromile Swift, Keon Clark, or one of those bums. That's what he is. He's a souped up Stromile Swift.
Agree that you start making decisions that in some ways may not make sense over the long term.
Right. And I think it's important. Oklahoma Cities and Houston and other teams in the West didn't.
At least Ben Wallace was a decent passer.
They kept trying. And again, one thing.
How do I like the Troy Brown pick? You know, man, I'm not too fond of the pick. I like him as a player. I like Troy Brown as a player, but the Wizards already have Kelly Oubre and Otto Porter, and then they draft this guy with the 15th pick. You know, who's he going to beat out? He's 18. He's not as good as Kelly Oubre or Otto Porter. So that means, like, in order for him to get playing time, we're going to have to trade one of those guys. Hopefully for Boogie Cousins. You know, he's got nice defense. But his player comparison has been Andre Iguodala, and I'm a fan of Andre Iguodala. But if you drafted that high, you're gonna have to get playing time.
LeBron, will he stay?
You're gonna have to get playing time, man. So we're gonna have to get rid of one of those guys.
Let's get Simon.
So the pick didn't make sense. I like Troy Brown. I think he's gonna be a decent player, but what expense? Like that means we're gonna have to get rid of Kelly Oubre or Otto Porter. One of those guys is gonna have to go, whether it's right now or during the season, because Troy Brown's been drafted too high for him to just sit on the bench. You know what I mean?
Happy anniversary dinner, darling. Can this much love be cleaned by a little bit of Dawn Ultra? Oh, yeah. One bottle has the grease cleaning power of 3 bottles of this other liquid. A drop of Dawn and grease is gone.
We got 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Treating others like we'd like to be treated has always been our guiding principle.
DeAndre Mavs deal coming soon.
The world is full of anchors, meant to keep you in place. And sometimes, the only person who can remind you to lift those anchors is you.
Man, I got my fingers crossed. Hyperventilating.
Anchors up from a beard that believes that's the only way to live. So you think my kids are going to make some great memories here? Yes. Look at that playset.
Come on, Wizards. Do the right thing.
Man,
yeah, Dragic plays for Miami. He's tearing it up, too.
Hey, James. Hey, Cole. Sure. Thanks, man. Chris, I figured out.
I think he made the All-Star team this year. I like Dragic.
I thought that was Rocket for it. Why can't it be both? I'll just do it.
Yeah, Dragic's a pretty decent player, man. Miami got a nice little team going down there, too. I don't know what's up with Hassan Whiteside. But Dragic, Dion Waiters missed a rack of games, but when he played, he was pretty decent. They got who else? Wayne Ellington, Justice Winslow, and what's the other dude? Whatever. Oh, and D Wade's there. I think D Wade got one more year, then he's gonna retire. He's gonna hang it up. It was a little weird watching him play for Cleveland and Chicago last 2 years. So I'm glad he's back in Miami.
And all your supplies are included. Even a laptop and tablets to use in school. Independence here for an independent you. Call 1-800-441-3077.
Come on. Please.
The clock has struck midnight. Free agency is open. Where?
Free agency is open.
Land. Will it be the land? AD. Reportedly.
Who you talking about? D-Wade? Yeah, D-Wade was the man, yeah. He was the man. For a while, man, him and Kobe were like the top two shooting guards.
He'll be in OKC, but for how long and for how much? Meanwhile, elsewhere, we wonder, CP3, does he get that max?
I always like D-Wade's game. That's why I kind of patterned my basketball game after, except for
And by the way,
I'm not as tall
there's also this
and I
question
can't
about
dunk.
DeAndre Jordan. After all of that progress a few years ago, did everybody make nice? Find himself?
But yeah, I always like Dwayne Wade.
Why? Can they still make nice? Or would he be out east in the city of champions in Philly? And another, make Joel Embiid tweet all night long as the song goes. Welcome in for however long as we welcome you into the beginning of the next couple of days of fever here inside our studios in Atlanta.
Come on.
David Aldridge.
Come on. Nikola Jokic agrees a 5-year deal with the Nuggets worth $146 million. Will Barton agrees for $54 million.
The West, a semblance of stability with the two moves, at least that we seem to know about so far.
Yeah, you have to.
Kevin Durant agrees to 2 years, $61.5 million deal with Golden State.
And you're seeing teams do that out west, especially keeping their core group together.
Paul George has committed to re-sign to OKC.
I will keep saying this. Well, a year ago, nobody gave Oklahoma City any chance of keeping Paul George. None.
I'm glad Paul George decided to stay with OKC.
He's only going to be here for a year, and he is now committed to stay there because they did all the right things to try and keep him. You have to give organizations that do that a lot of credit.
Good. I'm really happy for OKC, for real.
Semblance of an idea of whether they're going to be able to keep him. And they were able to keep him.
It's a top-notch organization, unlike my Washington Wizards.
Them and for other teams have to see this and go, this is why you have to try.
Unlike my damn Wizards.
You may not make it. You may fail, but you have to try.
Yes, exactly. We have to try. I don't think the Wizards are even trying.
Back from Golden State, PG-13 reported himself.
Come on, Boogie. Come on, Boogie.
Chris Paul is as well.
Come to DC, bro.
The deal for 160.
Oh, Chris Paul agrees to sign with the Rockets.
Yeah, and again,
for 4 years, $160 million.
And they created an environment that Chris very much.
But what are they gonna do with Clint Capella?
It starts with a destination player. They're a team that's built around two superstars as well.
CP3 unfinished business, Griff, run back.
And this fits to that. He bought into the notion that there is unfinished business there, that they have the makings of a team that can beat Golden State. They all very much believe it's not the hamstring issue. They get past that juggernaut already, and that's a two-superstar team with all of the ancillary pieces very mindfully put together by Daryl Morey. Incredible credit should go to them for the way they've built that, because again, to your
you said maybe Suns get Clint Capella.
The notion that they can't be beaten. They said we need to find another way. We won't put 4 great players together. We're going to put 2 great players together and build it exactly right. And Houston did that, right? And they're rewarding Chris Paul for his faith.
Yeah.
Here's the
Come on.
Let's go from what we know now for a second to what we don't as we sit on the other side of midnight, because out west we know Oklahoma
Maybe
City
we haven't heard any Clint Capella news yet.
We know where they stand. Golden State won the whole thing. So why LeBron, after all these finals, does he come out to join now all 3 of those and try and get the Lakers there?
I can't take it no more, bro. Can't take it. We gotta. Come on, man. Get Boogie. Come on, Wizards.
Can this end early? Because there's been a lot of conversation we talked about at the A earlier. Can LeBron make this decision without other pieces, Kawhi, for example, falling into place somewhere?
Well, yes, he can. I don't think that he is, has to know that Kawhi Leonard is coming.
Who is your point guard?
Obviously, but I don't think he has to know
Rookie
that. I
from
think
France.
LeBron is very confident.
I can't even remember who the Suns point guard
on himself, and he will, if the Lakers.
Damn, that's crazy. I know y'all got Devin Booker, who's a 2 guard. Josh Jackson.
With the cap space that they have, I think you can convince him.
A Boko or something. Let me go ahead and look this up real quick.
Is still strong. I do think that Cleveland, for that reason, still has a shot. Even though I think LeBron knows in his heart that the Cavaliers, as currently constituted, are not going to be good enough to win a championship. But that pull remains
LeBron
strong.
James.
The reason he went back home from Miami, Now they did win a championship there, so that mitigates it to a certain degree. But I still think that it's
Was it Tyler Euclid?
It's a very
Tyler Euclid
argument for him to stay.
Well, y'all just waived him.
Is and has been the guy. And
oh yeah, Brandon Knight was hurt. That's right.
I don't think they're out of it.
Well, and I also look at it from the standpoint of
I forgot about Brandon Knight, man.
You're LeBron James. You're dictating outcomes.
Yeah.
You're going to go where you believe you want to be for all of the reasons you make these decisions. Whatever
was Brandon?
It is,
I think Brandon Knight was on that Kentucky team with John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, and all those. Was he?
Totality. That's really what this comes down to.
John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, Boogie Cousins,
right?
Patrick Peterson or Patrick Patterson.
And we saw him make the decision to go to a team when he came back to Cleveland in 2014. Let's face it, the only reason anybody even knows my name in this business is that LeBron was with us for 4 years. And we went to the finals for all of those. And that's when you get to a point where you can start to think like he might think and say, I dictate outcome. If they have a template that we can jump off from, I'll take care of that.
Take me inside the room, if you will, the mind of a GM, because we talk about holding other teams hostage with where the direction of LeBron, and I think Kawhi.
Knight was on that.
Well, if he gets traded,
he played for Kentucky. I'm not sure if he was on that Kentucky team with Wall, Cousins, and
the Lakers, Cleveland, because they don't know
Eric Bledsoe.
Where LeBron's
I'm not
among other teams. A, how frustrating is that? B, how do you set up that plan B, C, and D and get all of those?
Come on, man. We're trying to hear about Boogie Cousins. We're trying to hear about Boogie. Come on, DeMarcus Cousins. Come on to DC. DC to DC, baby.
You can have all your options lined up, but the timing of that has to work for everyone.
Come on, man.
The year that LeBron came back,
we don't want to hear about LeBron right now. We want to hear about Boogie.
With several free agents not named LeBron, and we had him on the board as the guy. What didn't even have the name up there because we never imagined he would come back that year, right? We thought, give it a year, figure out whether or not we know what we're doing, and then he can come. When he came right away, we had a list of free agents that were ready to come. Kyrie had successfully recruited everyone that we were trying to bring, but the situation took so long to play out. By the time we were down to the decision that LeBron made, he was all that was left of those options because everybody had to choose to get on with it. And so it becomes really significant that you can land the plane, pardon the pun, you can land the plane soon enough that you can bring all of this to fruition, because otherwise people are going to take deals.
Anticipation,
a phenomenal job of explaining
anticipation.
There's so little cap space. When someone offers it to you, you probably
news with Boogie.
Right? So they're not
Let's
going
get
to
the
be able
news
to
with
play this game
Boogie.
I look forward to the 30 and 31 day, the relationship between the Mavericks and DeAndre Jordan, because the report now from the Times,
they're like that old girlfriend. He's changed.
1 year, $24+ million deal with the Mets.
Okay.
Not long ago.
DeAndre Jordan. 1 year, $24.1 million with the Mavs. So he's only there short term.
Dallas
I think he's just trying to see, you know, what they're gonna do with Luka Doncic. You know, about this Luka Doncic kid, man. I watch highlights of him, but I've never seen him really play. But a couple people have compared him to James Harden. I don't know about that. Maybe because he's a big guard. He's like 6'7", 6'8". James Harden is 6'5", but basically Luka Doncic is the big point guard with scoring skills like James Harden. And he's the most accomplished European player. I think he was the MVP over there. His team won the championship. You know, a whole lot of stuff. So he might be pretty good, but at the same time, there's a lot of Darko Milicic that's been drafted. You know,
right?
You know, Lord knows my Wizards have drafted, what's my name? Alexei Petrov and Jan Vesely.
You add Doncic, and you have Smith, and they'll probably
Harrison Barnes.
They were both high picks. Alexei Petrov looked like Stewie from Family Guy.
And you mentioned Rick
That bum.
the most important piece of all.
Jan Vesely,
thing in work here is
just a straight up bum. You know what irritated me about Jan Vesely? The year he came out, it was a 2011 draft. 2011 draft. That was the year Kyrie Irving came out, or whatever, and nobody knew who else was going to be good. But I specifically zeroed in on Kawhi Leonard. I was like, okay. I remember telling my man Sherrod, I was like, hey, there's this kid out of San Diego State named Kawhi Leonard. They say he can't shoot or anything, but I think he's a pretty good athlete. He plays good defense. He's a perfect running mate for John Wall. We got to get Kawhi Leonard. Like, I was like screaming to anybody who would listen, let's get Kawhi Leonard. We draft Jan Vesely.
Was it something I said?
We draft Jan Vesely, man. And then, you know, after that, you know, we see Klay Thompson go. We see who's the guy I was just talking about? Kawhi Leonard. We see Draymond Green. We get Kenneth Faried. We got a bunch of players that came after Jan Vesely, and I was so hot. I was so hot.
To enjoy Jack Daniels honey, you don't have to deal with people.
Oh God, yeah. Aaron Donald for Bar. Yeah. Aaron Donald may be the best player in the league now, right? Best player in the NFL.
You don't need to know that he's real honey from real bees.
Like I said, you don't have to deal with people. You just be the
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
On July 13th.
You know, my Eagles did some crazy stuff like that. My Eagles did some crazy stuff like that, though. Who do we draft? One year, man, I was hot. I was hot a couple times, man.
You take my kids on purpose.
You get them back at the end of the day.
No, it's better than nothing.
I know the feeling, though. I know the feeling.
Pennsylvania 3, rated PG.
Actually, this year I was a little upset my Eagles didn't draft Joe Mixon. You know, they didn't draft Joe Mixon. We drafted Donnell Pumphrey. You know, he ain't even play. But I'm excited to see what he does, though. Donnell Pumphrey. I'm excited to see what he does. You know, just because of like you passed on Joe Mixon, but this guy, who's not even bigger than me. Yeah, he was pretty good in college. They want to make same college as Kawhi Leonard actually. They want to make him into a receiving back, like a slot receiver, but that's not his game. He's actually a power back, despite his size. He's like 5'9", $175. They want to make him into a slot receiver, and he hasn't did much of that in college.
There's well with this. And we will be there in no time. Not so much this. And it tastes pretty great with that.
Who did we get this year? We got I know our 7th round pick was like some big rugby player. Who did we get? Jeez. Like I'm so into basketball right now, I can't even remember who our 1st round pick was. I know last year we got Derek Barnett in the 1st round. Who was our 1st pick? Let me look this up again. I'm tripping. Hold on, bro.
This season, I'm focusing on having more of a leadership role.
I want to be that person that people can look up to.
I'm here to work.
Who was our first pick this year, man?
We continue on the free agent fever just on the other side of midnight.
No, we had a first round pick.
We'll go again through all these is where we look right now. Don't forget, not on this list. PG-13.
Oh, you're right.
DeAndre Jordan reportedly a year, 24.1 Dallas. You look at Chris Paul. We thought this would be the case with the backs. Eric Pincus, take me through financially where we're at right now with the Rockets.
Well, they got a discount. I know it doesn't sound like it, but Chris Paul could have gotten a 5-year deal. So there was a compromise here.
I don't know. Let me see. I'm going to look it up right now.
Contract will be making, $47 million.
It's taking too long to come up on my phone. So
it'll be, I think, almost 90, not
go
quite
ahead and go to
90,
ESPN real
Chris Paul
quick.
and James Harden that year. Maybe 88, 87. Still trying to just digest all this information, but it's a good deal for Chris. It's a good deal for the Rockets. You can't take a step back. You just can't. Now the question is how do you pay Clint Capella? How do you pay Trevor Ariza? How do you pay Gerald Green? How do you pay everybody else? The answer is you pay them and you pay tax.
Man, I can't remember.
And we'll see what this new ownership group is willing to do.
I'm a terrible Eagles fan.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. We talked
Who we
about
get in the
some
first
of the other
round?
teams and deals that were made. We talked about smaller names and how important they are, those glue guys. Let's not underrate how big Aaron Baines was for the Celtics. This is huge news. Yahoo reporting 2 years, $11 million with Boston.
So I
don't think we got anybody that can come in and start right away. I know that. Dallas Goedert in the second round, tight end.
But he was really meaningful to them in terms of the defensive side of the ball. When Aaron was not on the floor, they struggled mightily to rebound the ball quite often. So he's a piece of
Dallas Goedert
for them as a role player. But it's fascinating to me that number is such that if they get Marcus Smart on his qualifying offer,
why are you mad at that?
Tax this year, and that sets up really, really well for the future because once you become a repeater tax team,
why are you mad, Raphael? They just signed Chris Paul.
Infinitely more difficult, and you mentioned the
Dallas Goedert was the guy we got Vikings.
Over the tax by enough money that they were considered over the apron, which is $4
They said he's Zach Ertz with blocking skills because Zach Ertz does not block.
So that's a vehicle for improving yourselves. When improving that,
He went to was it South Dakota State or something crazy?
Is really meaningful, and depending on what happens.
I don't know, man. 160 mil. That's pretty decent for Chris Paul, man. You sleeping on Chris Paul. The reason why I say that's decent for Chris Paul because his game has never been predicated on his athleticism. So it's not like he's going to lose a step. He's just highly skilled, very smart player.
But now when you look at Milwaukee and Jabari Parker, where we sit now with that?
Certainly you would, I'm not saying Milwaukee can't resign Jabari Parker, but
he's not going to lose a step, man.
Big man who plays that position.
He's not going to lose a step. He's not like John Wall, where his game is built off his speed. Russell Westbrook, his game is totally reliant on his explosiveness. And you see what happened to Derrick Rose once he couldn't jump anymore. He's barely holding on to stay in the league. Chris Paul, his game is strictly skill. He's a very skilled player, very fundamentally sound, very smart player. So that's about right. I think that's about right for Chris Paul, man. Chris Paul was an MVP candidate too. If he wasn't hurt, if he didn't get hurt, he would have been an MVP candidate. But he missed too many games.
McBuckets to Indiana, that also in the East. It's interesting to see where the Pacers go and what they do. I think people.
Ursa Ilyasova agrees to a 3-year deal with the Bucks.
As it was for them on the East side. Let's be fair. They had everything and then some. Oladipo makes a big rise and a jump with that team.
What's going on?
Thaddeus Youngstown, but he would leave, then he ends up staying. Now you add McDermott. It'll be interesting to see what else the Pacers do to your point, tweak some of that.
Y'all can do something. I think y'all can still sign Clint Capella. Y'all might not be able to give him the max, but y'all can still sign him to a decent contract.
What they were making their bones with, especially early
unless somebody's going to be petty and offer him the max, and y'all can't match it.
McBuckets does not help you there, right? No. So that's not what Doug does. What he is more shooting, more floor spacing to make things a little bit easier for Oladipo to do what he does.
So Dougie McBuckets goes to Indiana.
And so this is very similar.
I like
to
Dougie
what
McBuckets too.
Silva played in Philadelphia at the end of last season. And why I think it's a big blow for Philadelphia for him to go to Milwaukee. I am starting to wonder though if Ilyasova just has homes in each city he wasn't able to purchase up. He's really sort of beating a path between these two.
Yeah, you're right.
This is a big get for Milwaukee, a player that makes a lot of sense for them. And certainly, Dave, you mentioned it earlier, does set up the possibility that they don't have to pay Jabari Parker.
You're a Mavericks fan right now. I know obviously Ben Bleak recently got out.
I think y'all can still sign Clint Capella, Raphael.
Pretty excited.
Joe Harris agrees to deal with Brooklyn.
$24.1 million to add him with Harrison Barnes has been very good since he signed that deal. They didn't have to trade
Nikola Jokic signs with the Nuggets.
The guards with what you have.
And Will Barton agrees.
You think about now, Doncic,
stay with the Nuggets.
Yeah, Anderson,
Get to the news I want to hear though, man. Come on. Boogie Cousins to Washington. That's what I want to see. Come on. Via sign and trade, or we just sign them outright. We got to do something.
Yogi maybe spend $2, $3, $4 million. They have a little bit more to spend. But the bulk of their spending is going to DeAndre. Now, DeAndre only took 1 year.
Man, Raphael, man. I don't think you should be mad.
A lot of teams next year.
Now, okay.
This is not a good year.
Yeah, you might have a right to be mad if y'all can't bring back Clint Capella.
I had him on my fantasy team, and I've known DeAndre.
But I think y'all going to bring back Clint Capella because y'all were too close.
So DJ, you owe me.
You know,
all that said,
if Chris Paul didn't go down, y'all would have beat the Golden State Warriors.
Teams with massive cap room, and they're going to spend.
And y'all would have won. Y'all would have beat the champions. Y'all would have been the champions this year.
For a lot of money, he's going to get it.
So I don't really see Cleveland putting up a fight against you guys either.
Oklahoma City, meanwhile, out west.
Cleveland probably would have got one game off you guys.
PG-13, he announced that himself. Now reports 3 for 27 for Jeremy Grant, a guy who a lot of people are going to have interest in. He's a big part of that team. But
Jeremy Grant.
That tax, where are we right now?
Jeremy Grant goes back to OKC.
I mean, I'm impressed. We talked a little bit earlier and we said that you might save $80 million by stretching Carmelo Anthony, right? Well, now with Jeremy Grant, that number's closer to about 110 in that range, maybe even more. I'm still adding it up because they still have to add pieces to the roster. You got to get to at least 14, 13 players. So, yeah, somewhere in the neighborhood of 119, maybe we get to. Maybe it could be $125 million for
Jeremy Grant, 3 years.
If you won't accept a no trade, I could see a buyout and save his salary, right? If he gives you back
3 years, $27 million.
$2 million, any million.
With the Thunder.
And then you stretch him out. And we talked about this. You pay him out over 3 years instead of all right now. And it hurts you a little bit down the road, but it doesn't hurt as much as $119 million.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. A lot of the players getting involved on Twitter. How about Celebration Stogie there at the party in Westbrook? PG-13. He's staying.
I'm legit happy for OKC, though.
What would be the case? Can he change the balance of the East?
Legit happy for OKC.
We're proud to reveal that Jim Beam Black has been awarded the world's highest rated bourbon. Their words matters. Make history.
Why turn a meal into a snack when you can turn
What are you doing, dog?
into a meal? A 3-cheese blend, pico de gallo, double the marinated steak, and a medium drink. Taco Bell's new $5 steak nachos box. It's kind of a big meal.
Durham, proven tough so you can always deliver. Only at AutoZone.
Chris Paul hyped to be back in Houston.
Sam Adams Summer Ale, the official beer of summer. Pairs well with this. And that. We will be there in November.
Get out of here.
Not so much this.
Paul George gets a 4-year deal with OKC.
And it tastes pretty great with that.
I thought it was a 2-year deal.
Because it's
It was a 4-year deal.
Nothing goes better with that than this.
It was the option for the third and fourth years. Okay. So I don't know. Now I'm looking at the Lakers like, what are y'all gonna do? I hope the Lakers do not steal Boogie Cousins. Don't steal Boogie Cousins, man.
It's something more. It's the will to fight and determination to win, found inside each and every Marine. The answers
He don't even look right in Lakers yellow and gold. I mean purple and gold.
Say goodbye. The one size fits
Put on the Wizards red, white, and blue, bruh. Come on.
Without ingredients they don't want. Mom gets unlimited cheese, Dad gets unlimited convenience, the kids get the unlimited thing. It's big news from Verizon. And you can save some money.
I'm sitting here just waiting.
All this for us. Yeah, and every other family in America. I think the philosophy's in it. One family, different unlimited plans on the network you deserve, starting at $40 per line.
You get dirty. You get clean. You're gold. Get clean. Smells better than your next gold body wash.
This is intense.
I can't wait. This is crazy.
The draft may be over, but NBA Summer League
Never thought I'd be this intense over this. Never in a million years.
The 2018 NBA Summer League begins Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV.
ESPN reporting PG-13 agreeing to a 4-year, $137 million max with the Thunder, including a player option. Oklahoma City makes a large statement, and you tack on Jeremy, reportedly 3 for 27. They mean business.
What's Boogie Cousins doing?
What about the business of Boogie Cousins? And where does he fit in? Could perhaps he end up with LeBron out west? If not,
no news. It's unrestricted.
Questions right about where he stands. We know obviously DeAndre
Come on with the Wizards, baby.
He's never going to head there, but where does he go? And
come on.
The holding pattern. Everybody on the tarmac, they're saying we apologize for the inconvenience.
Yeah, man. What's going on, Jake?
For guys like Hoodie,
what's going on, Jake? DJ should have been there a couple years ago, man. But remember, they locked him in the hotel room or whatever. Wouldn't let him leave. Chris Paul and Paul Pierce or something like that. Something crazy. It was a wild story.
San Antonio is going to wait this out a little bit. See what those offers look like.
So, what do y'all think San Antonio is going to do with Kawhi Leonard?
Comfortable going into next year and playing it a while, and
yeah, the Clippers kidnapped that man. That's a crime.
So
that's a crime.
This is going to take a while.
You can't do that.
The guy who might be the most impactful
right
now, if you look at the big names left on the board, is really Boogie Cousins. Yeah. Because he is a player LeBron has identified at one time.
Do not.
Big man in this league. So
please.
He values him. And they
I'm gonna be sick if Boogie Cousins goes to LA with LeBron or he goes to Cleveland with LeBron.
Does that matter or does that not?
I spent the last 13 years of my life trying to beat LeBron in the playoffs. And like the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I've been rooting to get Boogie Cousins to DC.
I still need to get a king's ransom, right? I need to get as much for him as I possibly can because that's really the long-term asset value they're going to have moving forward to a huge degree. I love Lonnie Walker in the draft. They've got this poised to be very.
Any concerns about Boogie's injury? I have minor concerns.
But this is a Spurs organization that for
but still, I think even
has always
I think Boogie Cousins is the best center in the league. And if he were to miss the first month of the season, we all right. That's fine.
Max free agent right now looking for a home that might be waiting on Kawhi.
Now, if he comes back from the injury and he's not the same player, then okay, yeah. But from what I've seen, just on his Instagram workouts, he looks pretty good. Looks pretty damn good.
Goes out west, and you got Oklahoma City, and you got Houston, and LeBron with the Lakers, and certainly the Warriors. Also, you
see LeBron re-signing with Cleveland. I still think he's resigning to Cleveland too.
Absolutely, I think so. And again, Boston doesn't.
Paul George.
But I could understand them thinking about it because
Paul George just signed with OKC.
He's the best
and I don't think.
And so.
San Antonio don't want. Lonzo Ball. I don't think Lonzo Ball is a bust. I think Lonzo Ball can play.
Yeah, think about it.
He averaged 10, 7, and 7. You know, he averaged near triple-double.
Jaylen Brown.
I just wish he were more aggressive. Like, his 10 should have been 15.
They keep saying Tatum's off, no chance of Tatum. Well, you gotta think about
A lot of times he just played scared. I don't think he's a bust at all.
Philadelphia to make that to pull the trigger on Kawhi in the East, and it is Boston. Again, Boston got
damn it, I missed it.
Without Kyrie Irving.
Oh, that was fine. WNBA score or some shit.
Year, added to a team that already got to Game 7 without them. So I just think if you're Philly and you know Boston's going to be even better next year.
Okay, so I just got an update on my phone saying
you have to figure out a way to get this deal done.
A lot of questions.
LeBron agent expects to talk to Cleveland tonight.
Fan of the Thunder. You got to be very, very happy as we sit now on the other side of midnight.
I think Luke Walton's a good coach too. They don't have any players on that team. Like, well, they have players. They have a lot of young players, a lot of inexperienced players. So we seen what happened when we gave Luke Walton the actual talent when he subbed in for Steve Kerr for like 25 games. I think he went 24-1. So he can coach. And yeah, of course they had, you know, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant. but you can never really gauge coaching in the NFL. I mean, in the NBA if they don't have good players. How do you think Phil Jackson would have performed if he never had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Shaq, and Kobe? Shaq, Kobe, Pau Gasol, and Lamar Odom. You got to look at that.
It's kind of a big meal.
The only coach I can legit respect their ability is Greg Popovich. Because, you know, for the most part, he's just had Tim Duncan and then a bunch of guys. Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili are going to be Hall of Fame players simply because they won a lot of games with Tim Duncan. But if you look at their stats, they don't compare to anybody else. Like, there's not taking anything away from Tony Parker or Manu Ginobili, but for Tony Parker's career, I think he's probably a 17-5 guy. Let me look it up real quick. But his numbers aren't really eye-popping, but the fact that he's, you know, a multiple-time All-Star. Yeah, man. He's 15-6. Well, 15.8 and 5.7 assists for his career. But he's going to be a Hall of Famer because he's won multiple championships, made multiple All-Star games. You know,
not so much this.
So coaching is a bit overrated because you need good players. You need good players. Only coach I can be like, okay, that's a good coach. In the NBA is Greg Popovich, for real.
The biggest question is still.
Brad Stevens. I like Brad Stevens. And I actually like Jason Kidd in Milwaukee, but for whatever reason they let him go because they thought they were supposed to be better than what they are when all they got is Greek Freak and a bunch of guys.
The Laker fans got excited. They all rushed to find him somewhere in traffic. So let me know kind of how things fit. Now that Paul George is back in OKC, in terms of fitting LeBron and maybe even Kawhi, where are we right now with the Lakers?
Well, Magic Johnson, Rob Plinkett, clear that it's a 2 year.
I'm about to get on Boogie Cousins' IG right now.
2 years, they don't get this done. So if LeBron comes, that's obviously a huge. That's like the domino they need.
LeBron James going to Cleveland Browns to play tight end. Shit, he might.
Earlier in the show,
he might.
Coming off an Achilles injury, or they look and make a trade and try to get a deal done with San Antonio. But the question is, how much do they give? Because if they just wait a year, let's say you have LeBron and you have some kids with him, you get some good veterans on 1-year contracts, not the A guys, not the B guys.
I gotta look at this.
Maybe not even the C guys, but you keep Contavious Caldwell-Pope for a year, Brook Lopez, etc. Now you go the next year and you go shopping for Kawhi Leonard when he's a free agent. That's what the Spurs are looking at. So if they don't make a deal, they're going to lose Kawhi potentially to the Lakers to join LeBron James. So the question is, can you get a Brandon Ingram now? And who else is offering what out there? Is there a Godfather offer? Lakers aren't going to bid against themselves to make a Godfather offer. They'll just wait. I mean, they could have gotten Paul George last year had they given up Brandon Ingram. They didn't, and ends up Paul George never came. So it's one of those things where the Lakers can be patient. But sometimes when you're patient, you don't get your guy, or it could go the other way and don't have all your young kids and stars and have a really
Who's making a good point of Leonard?
nice long-term situation.
Oh yeah. If they don't trade Kawhi Leonard, man, he's gonna leave, and he's gonna leave for nothing. They're gonna get nothing in return, so they might as well trade him.
Spurs, and we're all waiting on LeBron to make that decision.
The thing about Kawhi Leonard, he's not money driven. So they throw that $200 million max deal at him, expecting him to sign, and he's like, man, forget this. I don't want to be here. So it's whatever.
This is where a kid fell down and a champion got up.
This is where shoes are filled. Can't push that to pop. This is where ego was laid to rest.
But I don't see anybody else trying to trade for Kawhi Leonard either, because they know he's going to go to LA. So they're not going to try to give up assets. They're not going to give up assets for a guy that's not going to be there more than a year.
So why am I hosting
You know
a
what I'm talking about?
convention after party in my Vegas suite, or wearing a full body wetsuit at this spa retreat, or sliding into this ski lodge with my mini horse cabin? Because Hotels.com lets me do me.
By the way, thank you guys for sitting here listening to me ramble and rant about NBA free agency. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share this page, do what you may.
Say goodbye to the one-size-fits-all family unlimited plan.
I need all the help I can get.
They want without paying for things they don't want. Mom gets the unlimited she needs.
Just a poor black man trying to make
The
it.
kids get the unlimited things. Big news from Verizon. And you can save some money.
All this for us.
Yeah, and every other family in America. I think the Kowalskis are next. One family, different unlimited plans on the network you deserve, starting at $40 per line.
Where you from, Jake?
It's back. Refreshing citrus sweet ale. Hello, summer. Ale. Sam Adams Summer Ale. Fill your glass. Nothing says summer like a beach trip.
He may have left.
Our summer travel deal on choicehotels.com like this. Search earn a $50 gift.
Is my TV too loud?
Twice this summer.
Or bada book, bada boom.
Book now at choicehotels.com.
You good? Okay, cool.
Buddy, okay. We're gonna squeeze this man in from third base. First pitch.
Baseball's no-brainer. Hand signals. Barbershop's no-brainer. Finally making razors.
Nail enhancement pills. Just a gimmick? Or do they really work? Some brands make outrageous claims about how much they can make you larger, but Extends doesn't make outrageous claims because Extends...
It tripped me out, man. These Viagra commercials. Like, this is really a problem people are facing. This is like... Yeah. Why don't you see medication for like AIDS or cancer or commercials? But you got, you got Viagra and Extends commercials like just playing throughout the day.
Can't discount the role played by our fans literally from the moment that PG-13's plane landed a year ago. Of course, they were expected to play Bennett and the Oklahoma City Thunder owners. What can you say about Sam Presti? You know, to do the impossible like Broadway Joe. I'll tell you what, don't downplay the Jeremy Grant move too and the importance of that. Oklahoma City all in. Goes Rudy Gay for one more with the Spurs. Seemed like a good fit there between the two.
And again, we talked about it. It's a value play based on the fact that he's coming off of an injury.
What'd he say?
Situation where both sides stand to gain a lot more by taking the next step.
Right.
Really high level.
Right. For 4 hours, like shit, you gotta go ahead and knock that out.
Kawhi. This
Don't call a doctor, man.
And you cannot overstate the significance.
Go ahead and knock that out, bro.
OKC 4 years. Yeah, with that third year out. That goes for you from a team building standpoint.
Hey, man, just go ahead and cough that cheese up.
Significant.
Yeah. Rudy Gay also, they put him in the starting lineup in the playoffs because they didn't have anybody put the ball on the floor and get a basket without Kawhi Leonard on the floor. I mean, as good as Marcus Aldridge.
I actually like Rudy Gay, man. Always been a fan of his game.
So
you know, ever since his college game, since his college days at UConn. It's just he's never really developed into like an elite player. He always had talent.
This is a good deal, I think, for both teams. Rudy at the end of the season,
I liked him with Memphis.
He really enjoyed his year in San Antonio. To your point,
yeah, I always liked Rudy Gay, but it's just, you know, for whatever reason, he just can't seem to put it all together. And now, you know, he's been in the league long enough to where they just kind of give him a role, which is basically the guy who gets buckets. Whatever, but you know, he had the athletic ability to do whatever, man. He could have been like a Greek freak type player, but he just,
is that
you know,
a
he was
sign
just out
to you
there.
that maybe you're ready to
Good dude, though.
I
From what I hear about him.
They are. Look, I think they have made it clear to him. I'm sure.
You know, another player I used to like that I thought he would be better than, you know, what he is now, or well, he's not even in the league anymore. OJ Mayo. Y'all remember OJ Mayo?
Gesture of doing it, and maybe that leads me to think they've made their peace with this, and now they are trying to just make the best possible deal
and get the right pieces.
That's right.
If you're sitting there,
So OJ Mayo will be so much better.
The urgency on the other side because nobody wants.
Yeah, OJ Mayo.
Held accountable for.
He went to USC. He was a shooting guard. He was drafted. He was drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies.
Or do they need to try and as quickly?
And he's out of the league now because of the steroids. And so he's been out of the league for like 3 years or something.
There's a deal.
But I thought he would be so much better than what he is. And he wasn't even a bad NBA player, but I always thought, you know, he had like all-star potential.
Capitalize on the asset value of Kawhi if in fact they're going to move him.
But I think he's
they don't have to have urgency.
He's a solid player. You know, if you need, you know, if you need buckets, basically, he can get you, you know, 15 to 20 points a game.
Because it's a completely different dynamic there. Right. The stability and sustainability of what they've grown.
He just kind of disappeared. I think he's playing like in like Israel.
They don't understand how to deal with it because everybody else is doing team building in a microwave. and they're doing it low and slow, like they're smoking it. Right? Mm-hmm. It's a totally different dynamic there. So no lens that we apply to normal situations gets applied there. Having said that, if you're San Antonio and someone meets your price, you act immediately. And the downside is what? You let him play in October and prove he's healthy? That might make the offers even better.
Yeah.
Griff, if you've got...
Aaron Baines agrees to re-sign with Boston on a 2-year, $11 million deal. That's not exciting. That's not the one. That's not the news I want to hear. I want to hear Boogie Cousins signs with the Washington Wizards. Or Washington and New Orleans agree to a sign and trade deal, sending Boogie Cousins to the Washington Wizards for a bag of Doritos. That's what I want to hear.
Because they're trying to run a silent auction. And that really only works if I trust that this dialogue is going to stay between us. Yeah. And San Antonio is not a team over the years that calls every team and has really creative trade dialogue. That's what they do. They sit
Excuse me, fellas.
Yeah, right. They make you build the deal. Right. Well, that may not be happening right now. And if that's not happening, if you have a dialogue, you're going to have it with people you trust. And that's why I continue to look at Philadelphia as a situation that makes sense because of the presence of Brett Brown. And Brett Brown is calling the shots right now to a huge degree. Also very meaningful.
This is the best stretch of time for a place near and dear to you. It's still a long time for the Phoenix Suns, if you're a fan. And it continues with the report that Trevor Ariza is on his way. 1 year, $15 million.
Trevor Ariza signed with your Suns. Vikings STW. Trevor Ariza from the Houston Rockets. He's a pretty decent player.
Both of those kids, and to be a fit with Ayton and to set a culture, could you find a better fit in Phoenix if you're the Suns?
The Phoenix Suns fan in me from the time
yeah.
He's a small forward.
I am really excited about.
You know, he'd probably be like your sixth man, and he can help develop Josh Jackson.
Of getting pieces.
I like Trevor Ariza. You know, he used to play for the Lakers. He used to play for my Wizards, actually. He played for New York.
And so Tyson Chandler and Jared
New Orleans.
Right. Now you're going to have Trevor Ariza not only being a veteran, all of the positive things.
Mikal Bridges, whatever his name is. He's a small forward as well. But Trevor Ariza, he's more of he's a good veteran guy for you to have.
That's a true.
You know, he can help develop those young players.
Voices can't be in suits. And
Trevor Ariza can play 2, 3, and 4. You know, shooting guard, small forward, and power forward.
The name that's been attached to Phoenix the last couple of days has been, and there's been.
He can play 3 positions.
Fred VanVleet. If that ends up being, let's
Fred
say,
VanVleet.
the next move. I mean, isn't the one missing?
You're saying Fred VanVleet may be going to Phoenix.
Had so many, the injury with Knight, obviously he dealt with a lot. When you look at Booker at the 2, you've got Warren and Ariza and Jackson and Bridges. You got Ayton and Chris. Seems like that point guard kind of the last thing to go.
And it's not. It doesn't look like right now it's going to be Marcus Smart. I mean, they have only talked about 1-year deals with everybody basically. And you saw Ariza took a 1-year deal. So.
Oh, y'all looking at Marcus Smart too. Look at Phoenix trying to do something.
Certainly a guy like VanVleet. I would think you'd take if you wanted to take a shot on a guy like a point guard, it would be someone like that. But remember, restricted free agency, the rules are a little different in terms of the number of years you have to give out for an offer sheet. You can't sign a restricted free agent to just a 1-year deal. So if Phoenix is determined to keep short deals on their books going forward, it won't be for restricted free
agency. And Phoenix is in a unique situation too, because they're trying to get better, but they're trying to get incrementally better. The heat is not on them to win 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Right.
So they should be what they've continued to be, which is mindful and patient. Look at the point guard names in 2019. This is how they solved their problem. Ricky Rubio, Kyrie Irving, Goran Dragic. This is where.
So y'all may bring back Goran Dragic in 2019.
Young nucleus shows its worth.
That's what this guy said, because you know he's a free agent that year.
The reason why the Spurs can be patient is because not only is it part of their culture, they have 5 chips. Okay, so they don't have to prove themselves to anybody, and they can afford to wait for the best possible deal. And they're not going to be rushed because there's no pressure on them because they've proven themselves over 2 decades.
Come on, man.
To be the best organization in this
I gotta hear Boogie Cousins news, bro.
I think if they can deal from the position of strength.
Checking my IG now.
Stability and culture is great. A lot of people look at Phoenix last couple of years and say, maybe kind of a mess. Bridges from Villanova, Ariza. If a VanVleet was a winner, all of a sudden that room a little bit different. We've got more room for talk with you on news. What could be next? Look, LeBron. Where could he be?
LeBron James going to OKC, bro. Nah. Yeah, that'd be crazy. If he went to OKC, how would that work, man? Because you got 4 guys who need the ball to be effective.
It's back. Refreshing citrusy ale. Hello, summer. Ale. Sam Adams Summer Ale. Fill your glass.
When we were dating, we used to get excited about things like concert tickets or a new snowboard. But that all changed when we bought a house. Voila! Matt started turning into his dad.
That's good mulch. No more. But it was pretty nifty when Jen showed me how he.
Man, it's looking like. I think LeBron James is going to sign with Cleveland, and I'm gonna be hating this, but I think they're going to try to get Boogie Cousins,
This is where a kid fell down.
and I'm gonna throw my face in the trash if it happens, man. put my face in the oven if Boogie Cousin goes to Cleveland. Like, I would rather him stay in New Orleans than to go to a team that's not the Wizards. Just stay in New Orleans, man, and we'll just, figure it out. But we'll never figure it out because we're the Wizards. But,
human beings were created being human, and if all of mankind were made up of kind women and
hey, he's a good player. 15 million, and that's not too bad. That's not too bad nowadays, considering how.
treating others like we'd like to be treated.
Can't see how they get Van Vliet. No, they're gonna. I think they gotta match him because he's a restricted free agent. So if they sign him to an offer sheet, Toronto has the option of matching whatever whatever offer you guys give him.
Get the official hat and towel the Warriors wore during their on-court celebration and pick up the NBA Finals commemorative film. Visit NBAstore.com now.
NBA Summer League is here on NBA TV. Trae Young and the Hawks square off against Jaren Jackson Jr. and the Grizzlies. And later, Mo Wagner and the Lakers and Marvin Bagley III and the Kings. Catch the start of Summer League Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV.
Boogie Cousins still available.
Come on, Wizards. Boogie Cousins is still available. Get him.
We wonder off the injury, how much does he get paid? Does he end up back in New Orleans? One of the reasons why he's interesting, and we've discussed this, and we'll bring it back up.
He's the best center in the league, Washington. We need him.
Doesn't look like it's going to be what everyone thought. It's amazing how many people were saying 2 months ago, like, oh, well, yeah, he's going to go, and Paul George is going to go, and Kawhi is going to go, and we're talking about on this show, every TV show, here's how it's going to work. Well,
amazing how that works.
Yeah, not so much. Looks like Kawhi could go east in a trade, and we know that Paul George staying for another 4 years, $137 million with a player option. So let's talk about Boogie. Any other possibilities other than
Man.
or perhaps maybe go to the Lakers?
Why is this so intense, man? Or is it just me?
Look, the Clippers are a team. They're not going to give them a long deal because they're all about 19, right? They want to have capital for 19. But there are teams out there.
Do not go to the Clippers. Come on, Boogie.
I don't think anybody's going to give them years. It's got to be a prove-it deal.
Come on. Come on, Wizards.
As good as he was playing.
Come on, Wizards.
But I do think there will be teams that, as time goes on, as the summer goes on, if they believe that at some point during the season he's going to be healthy again and play, you have to take a look at him and you have to see what's there. It's the same thing San Antonio did with Rudy Gay. It took 1 year coming off an injury. He wasn't quite as good as he could have been or that he's been in the past, but he showed enough for them to take another look, give him a year into it. And I think Boogie, will have a lot of people interested in him. But again, he can.
Come on, Boogie.
Max money 4 years. That's just not out there.
Come on, Boogie.
And it's fascinating. It's not out there because there's nobody with significant cap room.
Right, no one has money.
Right. If this was next year's free agent crop or free agent landscape, and there was that much available space, people would.
Come on, Boogie. Come to Washington.
And I think
come to Washington.
So
come to Washington.
This year's free agency. This is really.
Come on, man. We got.
Right. Everybody's going to be really.
I don't know what Boogie Cousins like. What DC got? We got
guys who's as productive as Boogie Cousins should not.
Got good nightlife.
Very, very good deal.
We got good food. A good culture. I think I hit every museum in DC.
Eat for breakfast because tomorrow we'll all be here.
What else? You got John Wall's your best friend. Who doesn't want to work with their best friends, man? We're already an okay team, so we just add you there. That'll make us a great team. We can be the team to kind of in the monotony of Cleveland versus Golden State every year in the finals has been those two teams for 4 years straight.
This is no ordinary voyage.
We can do this.
The Bermuda Triangle, an underwater volcano, and the lost city of Atlantis.
It's back.
This is going to be so much fun.
On July 15th, nothing is scarier than a family vacation. Ethan, stop!
Derrick Rose is staying with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Derrick Rose, man, I still root for the guy. Derrick Rose was the youngest player to ever win MVP. Before the injuries got him, man, he was one of my favorite players.
So why am I sliding into this ski line with my mini horse? Because Hotels.com lets me
You know, it was real tragic. Like I often wonder what could have been with Derrick Rose if he weren't. If those injuries hadn't happened. Because I mean, 1 year him and Russell Westbrook had the same exact injury. And Russell Westbrook came back like nothing never happened, and Derrick Rose just, never recovered. Like every now and then he shows flashes, but it's like it's real tragic watching him play sometimes.
Starting at $40 per
I think it's more mental for real. That's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor, and I've never suffered a significant injury, so I couldn't tell you. But just the way, he'll show flashes of like his explosion and speed. I think it's all mental with him.
Just press this light flat to the ground, and you're done. Bellenhall disc lights utilize light conversion technology that absorb the sun's energy in storage cells, where it's converted into solar-powered electricity. So when the sun goes down, disc lights come up for 10 full hours and turn off automatically in daylight. And now you can get this set of 4 Bellenhall disc lights for just $19.95.
Thank you.
Order today and we'll even ship it to you free. But there's more. Order today and you can get a second set of 4.
And y'all mess with Amazon?
So don't delay. Order your Bellenhall disc lights today. Call now.
I just got my Amazon just let me know that they shipped my package, so I'm really excited about that. It's like Christmas.
The frenzy has begun. All the news, the agreements, they're not signing people. That's all coming up on the other side. Get it right.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm old, so like little things excite me. Like I just ordered books. I just ordered some books, man. And that's exciting to me. I'm trying to learn some Spanish.
Sam Adams Summer Inn. Fill your glass.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into reading. My New Year's resolution was to read more. My goal was to read at least a book a month. That was my goal. But I kind of fell off a little bit. I only read 3 books this year. But it's still more than I've ever read. More than I've ever read, like, since high school.
Most cheap. Now, most of any toppings for the nation's best price. It's the crowning pizza cheap. And it's true what they say. It's lonely at the top. Unless you have an extra most bestest pizza. Then it's a party at the top!
Little Caesars extra most bestest pizzas, the most cheese, and now the most toppings for the nation's best price.
Say goodbye to the one-size-fits-all family unlimited plan. Starting now, everyone gets the plan they want without paying for things they don't want. Mom gets the unlimited she needs, Dad gets the unlimited he needs, the kids get the unlimited they need. It's big news from Verizon. And you can save some money.
All this for us.
Yeah, and every other family in America. I think
Oh my God.
One family, different unlimited plans on the network you deserve. Starting at $40 per line.
You don't understand how I can't even come up with a word. But I'm really into this. Like I really want Boogie Cousins to come to DC, man. Like I feel like the Wizards are so close. but yet so far, if that makes any sense. Like, I know exactly what we need, and it's Boogie Cousins or anybody who can grab a damn rebound. Realistically, if we don't get Boogie Cousins, I think we need to take a close look at Nerlens Noel. Sheldon Richardson's a beast. Did he end up going back to the Jets, or is he still with Seattle? Oh, he's with the Vikings now? Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, he's a beast now.
If I did play good, let me say it again, I'm here to stay.
No party like a Westbrook party. PG-13 on stage. He is staying. Big time money, too. 4 years, $137 million. Great job by the ownership there with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Player option. Put it as well.
Omar Caspi agrees to a 1-year deal with Memphis.
Money and good moves in staying. Chris Paul. 4 for the max, $160 million.
Ersan Ilyasova agrees to a 3-year deal.
The Warriors, very possible they'll look to try to bring as much of that team back as they can.
Derrick Rose agrees to a 1-year deal.
Jordan, as expected, the long and windy road from A to B between Dallas and DeAndre Jordan. They're going to make a movie about that.
Come on, Wizards.
On his way for 1 year to join Luka and Dennis Smith and company. But where will this guy land?
Where's LeBron going? Where's Boogie Cousins going? I don't. Please don't send Boogie Cousins anywhere near LeBron.
Not exercising his options. So now
whether he goes to LA or Cleveland or wherever.
Likely zero. Welcome to that free agent fever here on NBA.
Right, yeah. Boogie and LeBron are the two best left.
We've got our capologist extraordinaire, the smartest guy in America. He'll join us as well. Guys, let's start with Paul George and talk about that and what it means for this organization. The fact that he stays, as you've talked about a lot, DA, really 1 year of wooing led us to this moment.
Yeah, well, and I think not just wooing with no purpose, but wooing to show him that this
if OKC can keep
putting down
Paul George, we should have no problem recruiting Boogie Cousins. Oklahoma City is nothing to write home about. DC is where it's at.
It was an organization-wide.
No offense to anybody from OKC. Well, there's only 2 people watching the stream. So.
That you realize
one guy's from Houston, others from Phoenix. So there's no OKC guys here. But still, come on. If you had the choice to live in these 2 cities, OKC or Washington, D.C., where would you want to live? D.C. is the easy choice.
Russell Westbrook agreeing to an extension because Paul was there. There's all these things kind of fell on top.
DC can give them the most money.
At the end of the day, I just think they have a case to make, and
no, I don't know, man, because OKC, their owner doesn't mind, going in the luxury tax.
And we talked about the level of commitment he made.
So he's got the money to go ahead and spend. See, I don't care about spending billionaires' money. It's not my money. So I think we should give Boogie Cousins the max. Give him the max, man. How many years you want? 5 years, $300 million? Why not? Give it to him. Yeah, I'll root for the Skins, though. I've never rooted for the Skins.
You're not chasing this championship, and now what?
And actually, DC stand for Dallas Cowboys. There's actually more Dallas Cowboy fans over here than anything.
Begin to overstate how much better their position.
Yeah, y'all got Kirk Cousins
because he gave them a long-term commitment. And I think what it also
how you feel about him?
Something you said earlier.
I hope you don't choke.
And you have to believe in
Kirk Cousins, man.
Kawhi Leonard has the potential.
I like Kirk Cousins. I don't mind.
Everyone says he's going to end up in LA. They said that about Paul George. It's not what is, it's what I can sell.
Yeah.
And I can sell the right atmosphere and the right locker room and the right city and the right people and the right organization.
I actually think he's better than Case Keenum.
Yeah. And you can tell everybody you're going to LA because you're trying to burn someone's house down and get out of where they are.
Yeah, the Washington Redskins organization is trash.
You haven't experienced us yet.
The whole organization
and I
is
think
trash.
That's what's going to happen with Kawhi.
What are you doing?
Taking a chance on Kyrie. Right. What happened with Houston taking a chance on Chris Paul. That's what you do.
Lakers not aggressive on Kawhi.
If you think in April at home that your tax bill,
They say the Spurs asking price is too high for him.
Eric Pickus, Jeremy Grant, great deal for him and the team. 3 for 27.
I don't know. I will pull that trigger. Marco Bellinelli agrees to a 2-year deal with San Antonio.
This may be, if they keep this roster together, the most expensive roster that we've ever seen in the NBA. It's a small market. I don't think they can do that, but this is where they're going right now. So if they spend, let's say, a total of $160 million, you're talking about $150 million tax, almost double, over $300 million for this team. I can't see it staying that way.
Well, come on. If OKC doing this, then the Washington Wizards need to do this.
They need to either trade him or
spend that money, baby. Come on, Ted Leonsis. You one of the richest guys in the world, bruh.
$20 million.
You founded AOL.
I just think that's the natural thing. I will say, by the way, I live in Los Angeles, and for the last year or two, it has annexed Palmdale and said, yes, of course, Palmdale is a part of Los Angeles. But from what I understand now, speaking to some of my friends back home, Palmdale is not in Los Angeles. It's kind of near Los Angeles, but it's not Los Angeles.
It's not Los Angeles.
The only thing that matters, as you know, is LeBron in Los Angeles. We know he is physically. He might have houses there, though.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins.
Chris Paul. We knew Griff when we talked about.
He's
when he went over there.
He's a pretty good quarterback.
Conversation.
You know, Vikings they got to
but change in ownership.
conference finals last year.
No guarantees. Yet
I
everything.
think Kirk Cousins is better than
supposed to be.
Case Keenum.
At 4 for 160 for the match.
Case Keenum just had a good year last year, mainly because he had a good team around him.
In Golden State,
it's kind of like the Nick Foles effect. You know,
and I think you're looking at a situation.
You know, I'm in the Philadelphia Eagles group on Facebook, and you know they're all talking about, Nick Foles, the greatest quarterback in Philadelphia Eagles history. No, he's not. He's not. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl. He won the MVP. But look at the team surrounding him. Like, you got to look at the Philadelphia Eagles, all the players we lost. We lost Jason Peterson. We lost, Jason Peters. We lost Darren Sproles. We lost Jordan Higgs. And, you know, we just kept plugging guys in because we were a deep team. We had a good roster. Then we lost Carson Wentz. And we still won the Super Bowl.
One of the wages of wins now. It's
but if
what you do to get over the hump. And fortunately for Houston, they also have a financial vehicle there that allows
Nick Foles played for, I don't know,
Golden State,
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, people be running him out of the town. You know what I mean?
OKC, so incredibly compelling relative to a stretch.
You know, he put it together. Matter of fact, he started putting it together in the Minnesota game because he played.
Trevor Reason does not, and let's make no mistake.
He didn't play too well against Atlanta. Like I was nervous that whole game.
That culture that they had, a big part of what went down.
He put it together in the Minnesota game, and then he held his own with Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Yeah, only a few quarterbacks can carry their team. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. That's it. There are only 2 quarterbacks that can carry their team. Everybody else, man, you need more players around them. Even my man Carson Wentz.
Different defensive tenor, and PJ Tucker, I should also. Their ability to switch weak side on everything, basically.
Yeah, you can, like, Aaron Rodgers can make me and you look like Jerry Rice. Man, I already know I can't catch.
But Ariza was a big part of that defensive.
I'm fast. You might have to put me at corner. So I can't catch for shit.
And he was still a capable player on the floor. And I think that
just put me at corner, man.
Somebody like that.
Put me at running back. You'll just hand the ball off to me.
You know, there are other players you can bring in, other people.
Ask me to run no routes, man. I'm just ball bouncing off my hand.
That's yelled at guys and been yelled at. That's challenged guys like Harden and Paul.
Yeah, you got to really think about that, man. There's not that many quarterbacks that can, you know, you can just place on any team and be like, okay, this is a Super Bowl contender.
That's charged with winning a championship.
Maybe Russell Wilson. I like Russell Wilson, man. It's about time for him to start getting his respect. Drew Brees. So there's probably legitimately no more than 5 quarterbacks that you can put on any team and they're instantly contenders.
Because maybe we're only down to 2. I mean, that to me is kind of the first question we need to get to, Griff, because there's no foregone conclusion here, clearly. But the survey says, as the saying goes, most people believe he's going to end up with the Lakers, not just because the plane landed there. You know better than any of us do. How do you see the scenario? Is Cleveland still in it? And are those
Well, I think Cleveland's absolutely still in it. And I think the reason that they are is because he wanted to come home in the first place for a reason. And Northeast Ohio matters deeply to him. And it matters deeply to his family. It's where their roots are. So, yeah, it will matter. I think in
the
sweepstakes, as it were, you're really looking at Cleveland, the Lakers.
I need this. I need this in my life.
Don't forget, Philadelphia has a very important clutch client. Ben Simmons is represented by Rich Paul.
Yeah.
Ben has certainly represented to Rich, and Rich understands how well run that organization is.
Ben Simmons and LeBron James have the same agent.
To win as well when the right nucleus is put together. So they've had some competitive advantage there because of the presence of Ben and Rich Paul. So I still put them into the mix as well. I still think we're very much going to be centered on Los Angeles as the answer. But I think the pressure is really on Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka to put forth a compelling argument. LeBron is a basketball savant. And if you can connect the dots for him, I think you will get exactly what you're trying to get.
See what they're talking about on ESPN.
Either way, the NBA's #1 insider has the
every time I turn to ESPN, there's a commercial, bro.
Who's on the move and who's staying? Aces out around the big. Sale stumps the Bronx Bombers while Verlander takes one hit after another. And sleeveless in Seattle. Bizarre. That's ahead on Sports Center.
Those are ugly. I guess MLB is trying out these sleeveless jerseys. And the Seattle Mariners had their little sleeveless jerseys on. Those things look trash. They look like something out of remember those old P. Diddy videos with Mace? And they had like the leather shiny suits. That's what those kind of look like.
Capturing the headlines with a giant curveball, agreeing to a max extension to remain with the Thunder. This is without even formally meeting with the Lakers. After so much assumption, the LA native will make his way back home. Instead, the 28-year-old will continue with Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. Here's PG on Saturday night in OKC at a party.
Oh, what? Melo with the pass.
If y'all didn't quite get it, let me say it again. I'm here to stay.
Would have been an awkward party if he did not agree to that extension. All right, so he was new to the Thunder last year, but had one of the best seasons of his career. Career best in three-pointers made, steals per game, exactly 1 year to the day from when he was traded by the Pacers to OKC, and Sam Presti's gamble seems to have paid off.
Well, Adrian Wojnarowski hasn't gotten a lot of sleep lately, but he's got a lot of insight, of course, of the latest.
Oh, man. Come on, Boogie. Come on, Boogie. Come on, DeMarcus Cousins, baby.
Yet he stays in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, from the very start of that trade last year, and when Paul got there, he really was captivated by
the organization, playing with Russell Westbrook, and the Lakers started falling behind almost from that time. Here's the mistake the Lakers made, and looking back, and it's something they're going to have to decide how they're going to move forward with Kawhi Leonard. They had a chance with Indiana to get him in a trade. They could have given up number 2 pick in the draft last year or Brandon Ingram. Either of them would have gotten him from Indiana. They would have him here now, give you their recruiting LeBron James. They took for granted that they'd get him in free agency in a year. He fell in love with Oklahoma City. Tonight, he commits to a 4-year extension.
Damn, Lakers.
Russell Westbrook came home early from a family vacation in Hawaii.
I just hope they don't get Boogie Cousins.
PG-13. All right, so with George not going.
All right, bro, man. Once again, I appreciate you, checking up on the stream or whatever. I just realized I've been streaming for about 3 hours now. Like this was originally supposed to be like 30 minutes, but I just got caught up. Yeah, likewise. Good chatting with you too.
Make the Spurs stand up at attention and do a deal. Boston, Philadelphia have been engaged with San Antonio, but I think that the Lakers still believe that they can recruit LeBron James there and keep the assets they have, the young players, draft picks, and either get Kawhi Leonard in free agency next year, or get the Spurs to lower their asking price. There's a little bit of a game of chicken going on with they in San Antonio now, and Boston and Philly, same thing. They're hesitant to put their best assets in a trade because they are worried Leonard will go to LA next year and they'll only have him as a rental for 1 year.
Interesting though, if LeBron would go to LA, even though Kawhi would not be there.
Yeah, LeBron is the first one in LA is a big risk for him because in LA you are judged on championships. He's not going to be judged on getting them back in the playoffs, conference finals. The standard is what Kobe did and what Magic did, and all the great teams there. LeBron knows that, and so those are all factors we'll have to consider when making this decision.
Be quiet,
Developing story for sure. Thanks so much, Woj.
Thanks,
Much more ahead. Coming up, our Royce Young will have more on Paul George and the party that persuaded him to stay in OKC. Royce is there. He will join us from Oklahoma City. That's ahead on SportsCenter.
Other free agent news: DeAndre Jordan, we seemingly think for real this time, will join the Mavericks, agreeing to a 1-year deal for $24 million.
The shade, ESPN with the shade. Seemingly for real this time. He's going to Dallas.
Situation before backing out and returning to the Clippers in Lob City. Kevin Durant also staying put, like Paul George, in Golden State, signing a 1-and-1 deal that includes a player option. Last year, Durant became the first player in NBA history to win Finals MVP in each of his first 2 seasons with a team. Big man Nikola Jokic agreeing to a 5-year, $148 million deal to remain in Denver. The Serbian forward will be entering his 4th year in the league, has increased his points, assists, and rebounds per game in each of his 3 seasons. Chris Paul also staying put, signing a 4-year, $160 million max contract to remain with the Rockets. Paul's first season in Houston, remember, he got injured, so he had to miss games 6 and 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, so close to taking down the Dubs. Not all good news, though, for the Rockets. Yes, they keep CP3, but Trevor Ariza heading west of Houston, 1-year deal, $15 million with the Phoenix Suns. Joins a lot of young guys, Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, and Mikal Bridges. Must SC. We start on the diamond with Vincent Velasquez. Such excitement around this 26-year-old righty for the Phillies, but takes this liner. Does get the out at first, but what on earth happened here? He's down in pain, so he's a righty, takes the shot off his right arm, gets to it,
dropped his glove,
loses the glove
on purpose,
and goes lefty. And gets Adam Eaton. Incredible play. He would leave the game with a forearm contusion. Fortunately, X-rays negative.
Ow.
But
that's terrible.
Maybe an ambidextrous pitcher in the future with Chelsea.
More from this game later. We can only hope.
I was brought this person probably the end of my sophomore year and asked the doctors if I could play center field left-handed, and he was pretty shocked himself.
All right, so X-rays negative, like I mentioned, but good to see him at least laughing about the throw to left, and certainly concerned At least the fact that he had to leave the game.
More pitchers doing spectacular things. How about Michael Lorenzen, reliever for the Reds, but he's known for his hitting. 3 for 5, 2 homers, 4 hits.
With the Little Caesars mobile app, you can customize an extra most bestest pizza for most cheese.
So everything is going to have commercial at the same time. NBA TV and
And it's
ESPN.
true what they say. It's lonely at the top. Unless you have an extra most bestest pizza. Then it's a party at the
So far, it's been pretty uneventful. Everybody's kind of staying put. That's how, nothing major. Nothing major, man.
We're proud to
This
reveal
ball
that
stays with the
Black has been
Rockets.
awarded the
LeBron
world's
James
highest-rated
hasn't
rookie.
announced what he's going to do yet.
Their words matters.
My man, Boogie Cousins, hasn't decided either.
Here for Flex Glue, the super strong rubberized glue.
I'm going to check and see what
Glue is a powerful adhesive with amazing instant grab. It locks into
Derrick
place
Rose is staying with the
and it
damn
holds on tight. With Flex Glue, you don't need
T-Wolves.
screws or nails. Perfect for all types of repairs. And our Pro Formula has even more instant grab to tackle the biggest jobs. Now there's Flex Glue for everything you do. This rubberized adhesive is UV resistant and totally waterproof. So you can apply Flex Glue underwater and it even dries underwater. To show you the power of Flex Glue,
Come on, G.
all these parts fit Flex Glue together to build the Flex Glue 4x4. Slamming into giant logs, Flex Glue holds this piece together. Yeah! Get Flex Glue plus a handy size of the Flex Seal family of products for $19.99. Call now.
We continue on the free agent field.
All right.
Other notable.
Here's Silva to Milwaukee, Doug McDermott to Indianapolis, Joe Harris to Brooklyn, Derrick Rose to Minnesota, Ed Davis to Brooklyn, Aaron Baines to Boston, Marco Bellinelli back to San Antonio, and Gerald Green to Houston.
2 for 11 back to Boston. Another big man who could be on the move. We're not sure whether or not he will be.
Come on.
Back to New Orleans, Boogie Cousins?
No, come to Washington. Come to Washington. Come to Washington.
Question of where he fits, and maybe also where we might find an underrated name for the LeBron and Friends conversation they're having out in LA.
Yeah, so I think this is really an interesting situation now with Paul being off the board. San Antonio's apparent reluctance to trade Kawhi to LA. If you're looking for someone as Rob Blink and Magic Johnson, you can put in front of LeBron and Rich Paul and make a compelling argument for where we're heading. You put the guy that LeBron James once called the best big man in our league in front of him. Yeah. And you say, listen, his rehab looks like this. He's going to be completely healthy by such and such a date. We're very confident that he's going to be with you during a playoff run. The reason Dell Demps invested in Boogie Cousins to begin with was that the idea was with a Twin Towers, we would be such a different look to what is in vogue in the league now with teams that are playing small. We could force people to do something they're uncomfortable with.
I don't know, brother.
He's an amazing fit with LeBron James. And LeBron is a basketball savant, and he knows it. So I think this is a fascinating
No.
sort of a game of chess.
Come on, Wizards. I don't want to hear anything about DeMarcus Cousins and LeBron James teaming up, unless they're both coming to DC.
Puts in front of you while you have to wait out the LeBron James situation. To the points Eric has made about how little cap space there is. You saw Trevor Ariza strike while the iron was hot. $15 million? Yeah, go. I'm in. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a little bit of that. It's a race right now.
Come on, Wizards.
Cousins that we haven't really talked about tonight is
Yo, sign a 3-year, $20 million. The 3-year, $60 million deal with the Wizards. Come on, we got this.
I mean, that was not, and that's an important thing. I think that's
We
one of
got
the
this.
reasons he was so hurt by the Kings not, kind of taking back their promise to pay him, because he had really kind of insulated himself in the city of Sacramento, in the community of Sacramento, had really done a lot of things in that city that nobody knew about, and was doing and is doing the same thing in New Orleans. And I think I think he likes New Orleans a lot, and does that tip it their way with all things being equal, or is LeBron's pull so great that he doesn't matter?
And Alvin Gentry did a great job with him as well. Put him in position to be very successful. So the fit there was good on a lot of them.
All right, last question still, but let's be honest.
All right, guys.
Where's he
Chat's been going on over about 3 hours.
Continue to move without no.
It's really just me talking about free agency in the NBA. I promise you, this page will be more than about NBA stuff. Man, I have a lot. I want to do with this page. I want this to be a platform for everybody. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Like, subscribe, share this page, Blackline. And I'm your host. And I'm out.